And welcome to Park Center High School for Northwest Suburban Conference Baseball. Here as the Armstrong Falcons pay a visit here to the Park Center Pirates. Both teams coming in at 1-0 on the season. I'm Jay Wilcox along with Drew Keogh, and thanks for joining us for our season opener for CCX Spring Sports 2019 and first ball game here. And Drew, it looks like it's kind of the calm before the storm. The rest of the week is looking a little iffy about getting games in, but today at least not a bad April day. It's not toasty out here, but certainly playable. And these teams, you want to take advantage of when there is a day that you can play and get a game in against a pretty quality opponent too.
Yeah, Jay, I think you and I have definitely experienced some worse situations in the spring with spring baseball here in Minnesota. But this is not bad. It's cool, but the wind's not too bad. The field seems to be in pretty good condition, nice and dry. Dirt nice and soft, and field seems to be in good condition. And weather couldn't be, it could be worse.
Well, and for both these teams, they both have a lot of guys back from last year, and expect to cautiously optimistic about having pretty good seasons too. Armstrong last year led the league for pretty deep into the year and ended up tying for second place in the conference. And Park Center had some good wins along the way. Teams that have been rivals of theirs. They beat Maple Grove last year. They beat Totino Grace, beat Champlain Park. And kind of faded a little bit at the end. But, I think they feel they could be pretty competitive this year also.
Yeah, not where they wanted to finish in the playoff run, but, having that the ability to look back at last season and say you beat a couple big schools, big rivals here in the Northwest Metro for Park Center is a really good building block. And for Armstrong, I covered them a lot when I was with 12 Sports, now CCX. They're just scrappy. They play for extra bases. They do the little things. And that's just kind of their MO as a program, and that's why they are always there at the end of the season and making a run in the playoffs.
Take a little time out here as Armstrong completing their infield-outfield practice. We'll come back, take a look at the lineups for these teams as we get set for baseball action on CCX.
What makes your community feel like home? Is it knowing what's happening in your neighborhood, or when people know your name? Connections make us a community. For more than 30 years, Northwest Community Television has connected citizens, neighbors, even sports fans through video. As life gets busier than ever, we will still offer you a connected community experience through CCX Media, so you can stay connected to the place you call home.
And welcome back here to Park Center as we get set for this battle between the Armstrong Falcons and the Park Center Pirates. Armstrong, of course, as the visitor, will get first opportunity with the bats. We've been noticing in the games that these two have played, obviously only one game each, and some of the others around the area, that definitely the pitching seems to be ahead of the hitting. A lot of 1-0s in the early part of the season. In fact, both of these teams winning 1-0 games. Armstrong beating Maple Grove on Monday and Park Center beating Cooper on Friday by that 1-0 score. Here's the lineup for Armstrong and Coach Brian Sobiak. They will start with Nathan Pertula leading off, playing right field. Tyler Schell, the shortstop, hits in the number 2 spot. Good catcher for them, Tyler Fliss, hitting at number 3. Drew Ide, the first baseman, hits in the cleanup spot. Bo Human, the DH, will hit 5th. Patrick Bray at second base in the number 6 slot. Travis Mosley in left field hitting in 7th. Reese Parsons at third base hits 8th. And Jordan Page, the center fielder for Armstrong, who won 13 games a year ago, in the number 9 slot. And the defensive alignment for Park Center and Coach Nathan Johnson, their group will look like this. Around the infield, you've got Trey Stork at third base, Tanner Stein, a veteran, at shortstop, Jackson Dwyer at second base, and Jose Gonzalez at first. In the outfield, left to right, Nate Corshane, Mason Clem, and Tanner Sherva. Behind the plate for Park Center is Riley Peterson, and on the mound for the Pirates is right-hander Matt Dobler. Dobler a year ago worked 17 2/3 innings. He appeared in 7 games for the Pirates, made 1 start. and allowed 25 hits, 15 runs, 11 of them earned a year ago, so an ERA of 4.36. Walked 9, fan 12 in his appearances last season. And Drew, we always talk about the, the weather and what's it going to be like early in the season, but I think for players, you have to remember, these games all count. You get to the end of the season and it's time for seeding. They don't give you an asterisk because, it was windy and cold that day. It's still going to go on your record as a W or an L. And that's, the guys who can kind of grind through it, I think, on days like this are the ones that, are going to be successful in the end.
Yeah, and I think one thing to note, we don't have many stats. We don't have much to work with on either of these teams because they've only had one game under the belt. But both teams coming in with one victory and with no losses on the record. But that says something about the teams getting out of the gym and onto the field and playing fundamental baseball. Early in the season, that's important. That's what coaches really want to see their players focus on, is getting the fundamentals down, getting their head in the game, and not really letting the little things kind of rile them up and spin out of control and cause, a 6-7 run inning. And so far for both these teams, having a 1-0 record is a good sign of that, and also a good sign of pitching.
And you kind of come to realize, I've done this as long as I have too, that the teams that are, pay attention to detail, the ones who take a sharp infield and things like that, those are the ones that, you might think those little things don't matter that much, but the good teams, the ones that wind up in the state tournament, they are pretty sharp at those kind of things. They don't look at it as, I'm just taking grounders here and there and that type of thing. Yeah,
and it's hard as a player to understand sometimes what the coaches are trying to get you to do and why they're so focused on the little things from the start of the season, but that builds. Every game 1, 2, 3, 4, game 20, game 30, when you're in the sections and play in state tournament, that stuff starts to pay off, and it's routine, it's expected, and there's a little bit of peer pressure from the top of the order on down through the bench that you better make sure that you're staying down in the grounder. If you don't field it cleanly, make sure you stay in front of it. Don't let the opposition take an extra base. Don't have a mental breakdown and throw a ball wild and not chase it down. Do the fundamentals and make sure that you know what's going on in the game from the first pitch through the end of the game.
So look at Nathan Johnson, the Pirates coach in his 4th season, and obviously ground rule time with his counterpart Brian Sobiek and the umpires. Early season for all involved, and obviously everything's a little bit different at each field in terms of how they do things. And I always find it interesting that for the most part, umpires go with what the home coaches lay out in terms of ground rules. Obviously they can have some input on that if they see something that they don't like or disagree with or whatever on that kind of, but it's generally the home team sort of says, here's how our field's laid out, here's how we do it.
Yeah, and I think you learn every year some things may change slightly here and there, and for these umpires who are traveling around from field to field, they got to adapt to different field settings. I mean, there's a bunch of foul territory down the left field line, is all that in play, and the home coach is responsible and much more familiar with the setting, saying, hey, this is the best way to do this. If this happens over here, that's a foul ball. If it's over there, nobody can touch it. If it's at bat, it's a dead ball. Player advances. Just laying that framework here before the game and making sure that both coaches and all the umpires are on the same page is a good start for both sides.
Field is greening up a little bit. I mean, we weren't seeing much green on any of the fields up until probably 3-4 days ago. We got a little bit of that rain and then a little bit of warmer temps and some sun. I mean, obviously it's not probably as ideal as it's going to be later in the season, but at least you can see that it feels, baseball ready somewhat anyway.
Yeah, for second game of the season for this field, it's in great shape. I mean, of course, in the next 24, 48 hours, we're probably going to get a few, maybe several inches on the field, and the schedule will have to be reworked. But, today it looks good. Dirt looks good. Everything's pretty flat, and it looks like a great day for baseball. A little chilly, but we got a good crowd. I think the crowd is anticipating the weather kind of messing up the spring sports schedule as well. So anytime you get a chance to be outside and it's dry and not too windy, you want to take advantage and cheer on your local teams.
It was interesting talking to Brian Sobiek, the Armstrong coach. They really decided late yesterday morning to play their game against Maple Grove yesterday, Monday afternoon. And they could see that the weather was going to be bad later in the week. And, well, how about we move it up and just play today? And I said, sure, go ahead, let's do it. And so they ended up getting that game in. And he said, we were pretty efficient. Both teams pitched well, and not a whole lot of offense from either team. But, again, that's not terribly unusual at this point in the season anyway.
Yeah, you definitely want to get the games in when you can, and when you know something is almost certainly going to be impacting your early season schedule, you want to do what you can to adjust and adapt, because once it gets down to late April, early mid-May, your schedule's pretty packed, and then all of a sudden you're looking at sections and you're not going to be able to squeeze those games in. And for these kids, they want to get out of the gym. They want to play. They want to see what their teammates have and what the opponent can bring to the field. And it's a good chance to just get things started, because then they know what they have to work on next time they get down to the practice field.
Yeah, I think the coaches ran into last year. Last year was about as bad as it's been for scheduling, and it's tough to just say, well, yeah, we've got this date open, but how many pitchers do we realistically have to be? It's not the MLB here where we have enough pitching to play 6-7 days in a row. Yeah,
and it's strategically decided for teams later in the season when you've been through the rotation and everybody's been playing a few games here and there. The other team may have a much better lineup in position, whereas your 1-2 pitcher may not be available, and you might not want to flex that schedule and move it around. So it's nice here early in the season that baseball teams are willing and able to do that, so they can keep their schedule somewhat flexible and open when it gets towards the mid-season and later in the season.
See Dobler completing his warm-up tosses here. You have to expect this early, probably going to see multiple pitchers as we did in both these teams' first games, even with the fact that they were holding their opponent down pretty well and ended up getting shutouts. You're probably not going to see 6-7 innings out of either starter today. You wouldn't expect here, especially with, as we said, a little bit on the cool side too.
Yeah, definitely with the weather being cool, you want to keep those arms fresh, and you don't want to work them too hard. But also from a managerial position, you want to see as much as you can from your pitchers. And this game isn't going to decide the season. It's not going to be winner take all, but it is. It'll count towards sections and seeding. But you also want to get the most out of your pitchers and your roster, and you want to figure that early in the season rather than trying to figure that out late in the season.
Nathan Pertla stepping in, and we are underway here with our season opener here on CCX at Pitch Taken for a Ball. Pertla played a lot last year. He had 60 at-bats for the Falcons, hit 300, a 400 on-base percentage, had a couple of home runs, 3 doubles, drove in 13, scored 13 a year ago. So definitely a guy with a little bit of pop. He's not a real big guy, but somebody that you like to have at the top of your order that can both get on but also drive the ball a little bit.
Yeah, that on-base percentage is always a good thing to look at when you're looking at the top of the order. You want to get runners on early in the game so you can get a chance to get ahead on the scoreboard early.
Dobler missing outside with that one. Pertla trying to get on to begin the top of the first year for Armstrong. Fires a fastball over for a strike. Lifting this one up to short right field, and a little trouble with the wind, but able to get back and hang on is Sherva there for out number 1. You don't really take any fly balls for granted at this time of the year. The wind isn't super strong, but probably 10-15 miles an hour, and made that one a little bit of an adventure.
Yeah, not the hardest hit ball we'll probably see today, but that ball is up there in the air. Once it gets up in the air, it's hard to track when that wind is playing games with you. But good job by the right fielder to get onto that and get that first out onto the belt.
Tyler Schell will step in now for the Falcons. Takes a fastball for strike 1. Schell last year hit 381, 15 runs scored, a couple of home runs, 14 runs batted in. And he drives this one to short left center, and it's going to drop in for a hit. Tyler Schell aboard with 1 out for Armstrong here as they get their first base runner and first base hit of the game. Thought off the bat initially that one might be carrying a little bit farther, but it actually nestled into kind of a nice little spot for the Falcons here, and kind of in between 3 fielders here.
Yeah, nice job there by Schell to wait for that ball to get deep in the box. Put the bat on it solid, and it drops right in front of the left fielder to get that runner on the first base.
Tyler Fliss will step up. takes that one for a ball. Fliss last year hit .318, knocked in 7 runs, had 3 doubles and a triple to his credit, 44 at bats. Obviously, they like his potential as a hitter here, having him in the 3 spot.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing him from last year. I recognize his stance. He's got a good stance, good solid base, and looks like he's got an aggressive approach there at the plate.
And knocks that one past third and into left field, and back-to-back singles here for Armstrong as they get a couple aboard here with 1 out in the first.
And that's what you want to see if you're Armstrong. You want to see your team putting the bat on the ball, putting the ball in play. If you're not taking base on balls, you don't want to be striking out. You definitely want to put that ball in play and make the defense make plays, and that ball just sees its way through the left side of the infield. And Armstrong in a good spot here with 1 out.
No real chance for Stork to get that one. It wasn't terribly far away from him, but hit hard enough that he just really didn't have an opportunity. So Drew Ide will bat now, and we're going to see a courtesy runner on for Armstrong as Jack Major, number 22, will run for the catcher Fliss. So Major on at first, Shell on at second base. Drew Ide is the hitter. Drew last year hit .250, knocked in 12 runs, 1 extra base hit, a double. Squared as if he might bunt, takes it high and away for a ball.
Yeah, this is Armstrong baseball. Get runners on, and then you try and make things happen. You don't wait for that gapper to drive in runs. You try and make things happen early in the count.
Again, Squares are going to throw behind the runner down to second, but Shell able to get back in as Peterson came up throwing there.
Good strong throw by Peterson. A risky play to throw behind the runner down to second base, but if you got confidence and you got a good arm, it's a good opportunity to try and catch that runner sleeping.
And I do think sometimes, you know, it depends on how much indoor time you have to work with, but I think these are the kind of situations that more teams kind of do start to work on in preseason, because, you know, there's only, let's face it, it's get a little boring if all you did was take grounders the whole practice every day. So they kind of work in some situational work like this here. You know, okay, we've got 2 on, and what are we going to do here? And Dobler, though, needs to throw a strike, and he does here to Ide.
Yeah, and Jay, when you're practicing, you can put your team in this position and say, all right, here's the situation, make sure you know what you're doing. But it's a lot different when you're actually in the game, and the opposition has a chance to make you, put a run across the plate, and this is just much more of a good opportunity to go through the motions and make sure you know what you're doing.
Dobler comes back with a pair of strikes here now, so count running full to Drew Ide. See if Armstrong dares to start the runners in this spot. They are not. And this one back up the middle, could be 2. Oh, the ball juggled. And they're going to get the out at second, but then safe at first. The runner peeled away, and so they ruled that he had the ball long enough. Force play 6-4 at second base. No error. It's going to be a fielder's choice because they did get the 1 out. Kind of a base running mistake here by Armstrong, though, as Major peeled away. And so he was going to be out automatically there. Yep. I can see why he thought it was going to be an out, but probably got to keep going to the base there.
Yeah, I think he'll learn his lesson here in between innings, getting a talk from coach. But, it's a courtesy play to peel off, and you assume that double play attempt is going to, go through. But unfortunately, it didn't, and he was already way out of the base path after peeling off and trying to get out of the way.
Oyuman, the DH here for Armstrong, batting with runners at the corners now and 2 out. Takes a strike here. Boy, it'd be big for Park Center and for Dobler if they could get out of this inning. It didn't get off to a great start, but now he's potentially 1 out away from getting out of the inning. Runner from first is going, and they're going to get him out. No need to throw home there, as that's the 3rd out.
Doesn't think he tagged him.
So the out is recorded, and Armstrong done here in the top of the 1st. Here's another look. As you see, they were shortstop Stein cutting through, and
it's a tough call for a officiating crew with only 2 umpires, but he may have gotten around that, but the call is made, and Park Center gets out of the inning with a clean slate.
So no runs, 2 base hits, no errors, and 1 left aboard here in the top of the first for Armstrong as they end up kind of running themselves out of an inning there, the first and third run, and they get the throw out. And so here's a look at the lineup for Park Center that they will send up and try and get on the board early here. Jackson Dwyer, the second baseman, leads it off. Then it's Tanner Sherva, the right fielder. And another Tanner Stein, the shortstop, hits third. Riley Peterson, the catcher, hitting fourth. Jose Gonzalez, the first baseman, hits fifth. Trey Stork, the third baseman, in the sixth slot. Mason Clem in center. Matt Dobler will be in the batting lineup. And then Nate Corshane, the left fielder, hitting in the 9 slot for Park Center. And defensively for Armstrong, they will have Reese Parsons at third base. Tyler Schell is the shortstop. Second baseman is Patrick Bray. Drew Ide at first base. Mosley in left field, Jordan Page in center, and Nathan Perdola in right. Tyler Fliss is the catcher, and doing the pitching for Armstrong will be Adam Bewin, the left-hander. Bewin worked 26 innings last year for the Falcons and had a 4-0 record with 1 save. 1.62 earned run average in that time on the hill for the Falcons. Allowed 28 hits in those 26 innings, only 5 walks, and fanned 10. So a control pitcher. And Jackson Dwyer stepping up. Dwyer knocked in a run, the only run I should say, in their win over Cooper with a sacrifice fly. A rip and a miss at this one. Dwyer a season ago hit .279, had 61 at bats, 5 doubles, knocked in 3, and scored 12 runs for the Pirates.
Bewin looking pretty strong here to start this bottom half of the first inning, keeping that ball low in the strike zone, down at the knees and right around the plate for these first few pitches.
I know Armstrong kind of said they like their pitching staff this year. They feel like they got some guys who can throw. Taken low for a ball.
It's a good miss. It's a good miss just off the plate, just below the knees, but makes the hitter think and stretches that zone a little bit.
See who wins this battle. And ball 4, and Dwyer works out a walk. Boy, it's kind of a double win for PC there. Not only did you get the leadoff man on, which is most important, but he also saw a lot of pitches.
Yep. Yeah, working that pitch count here early in the game is good. Lets the batter see where he's throwing the ball, and he's definitely keeping it low in the zone and missed the last 2 there just below the knees. Good pitches, though.
So Tanner Sherva will step up. He was 0 for 2 with a walk in their win over Cooper. And a year ago, batted .200. 8 hits and 40 at bats. Did knock in 6 and score 7. And that one straight just at the bottom part of the knees there.
Yeah, he's definitely keeping it low in the zone, which is it's going to be hard for the hitters to put that ball in play. But maybe they keep working the count and see what they can do with the pitch count and maybe get another base on balls.
And sliced out to center, but it's going to hang up and be easily playable there for Page. So they had him positioned well. Sherva hit the ball decent, but flies to center. So 1 gone, and Tanner Stein will be the hitter now for Park Center.
Yeah, pretty lazy fly ball to center field, but good job by the hitter there to put solid contact on the ball. That's what you want to do here early in the season, is get some swings in and put the ball in play.
Well, for the fielders, they don't have to deal with a bright sun, which is good, but I would think it could be a little bit tricky picking the ball up today. It's a mostly cloudy day here. Pitch taken for a ball here by Tanner Stein. He was 1 for 3 in their win over Cooper. Hit .371 a year ago. All in all, probably their best hitter last year. Knocked in 12, had 4 doubles, a triple, or a couple triples, and a home run.
Stein looking for a coach to give him the signs again, which leads you to believe they may be trying to do something here with maybe a hit and run. Doesn't seem like a perfect count to do that, but you never know.
And he knocks that one through to right field. And Stein aboard with a single. So like Armstrong, Park Center gets 2 of the first 3 hitters on. So first and second, 1 out now for PC. And their cleanup man, Riley Peterson, will be coming up.
Nice solid swing to the opposite field. It's something that it's good to see your hitters do, is put the ball into play solid on the opposite side of the field. A lot of hitters tend to pull the ball so they can hit it as hard as they can, but being able to drive the ball to the opposite field is a good talent to have.
Riley Peterson, first pitch swinging, fouls that one back. He was 2 for 3 in the game against Cooper, including a double. And a season ago, he batted .200 for Park Center, had 3 doubles, a home run, knocked in 6. So again, we're seeing quite a few guys on both teams that were regulars last year.
Again, another good miss by Bwin there. I think it's one of the first breaking ball we've seen, but it was a good pitch. Just missed the zone, but kept the hitter thinking there.
Breaking ball over for a strike there. B went ahead in the count here in a tough spot in this first inning. Fliss, a nice block on that pitch in the dirt.
Nice job by Fliss there. He didn't come up with it clean, but he didn't need to. He blocked it and kept it right in front of him. Didn't allow the runners to even get a chance to advance a base.
But I think it gives the pitcher confidence that he can really let loose with a sharp breaking ball if he's, confident that his catcher can smother it. And that one on the inside part of the plate, a called third strike. Peterson, I think, thought it was a little bit inside, but it'll be out number 2, and Jose Gonzalez will be the batter now for Park Center.
Yeah, good strong fastball there by Bwin on the inside corner after a few breaking balls. Gets the strikeout to put himself in a position to get one more out and get out of this inning.
So his counterpart Dobler was able to get out of a similar jam. We'll see if Bwin can do the same. Misses high and away with the fastball there. And Gonzalez did not play in the win over Cooper, and don't know that it looks like he didn't bat for them a year ago either. So maybe his first varsity at bat here, and takes a strike. Lifts this one back, foul and out of play.
Good pitch to hit there, just a little behind on it and in on the hands. But Bwin doing a good job hammering that strike zone, staying right around the plate, making it good for the umpire to give him a little bit of extra padding on the outside or down below if he keeps working that strike zone.
Swing and a miss at a breaking ball. It's in the dirt. Fliss will have to throw to first, and they do record the out. So Bwin, much like Dobler, able to get out of trouble after a shaky start. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 2 left aboard here for Park Center. So after an inning complete, we are scoreless here in Brooklyn Park.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma. I have a mentor, and she convinced me to continue my education.
No one receives a diploma alone.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, go get it. You can do it.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
And welcome back here to Park Center along with Drew Keough. I'm Jay Wilcox. Early season baseball, Northwest Suburban Conference action here as Armstrong and Park Center 0-0 through 1, although both teams got a couple of runners on with 1 out. So we did see a little bit of action and both pitchers able to work out of it. Bo Heumann will step in for Armstrong. He was on base when his teammate Hyde was caught stealing to end the top of the first. Had a first and third situation, sent the runner from first. And he was thrown out. Tanner Stein, the shortstop, was cutting across the middle, you know, and may or may not have actually tagged him, but looked like it was a tag out according to the umpire, so they get the out. So Heumann is back in there for the Falcons. Takes the first pitch over at the knees for a strike from Dobler. And nearly the same spot. It is 0-2.
Yeah, that's where you, if you're a catcher, that's where you like to see that ball from the pitcher. You want to keep it at the knees. Makes it tough for the hitter to drive, and it really is a good spot to put that first few pitches.
Takes that one in the dirt. 1-2 now. Patrick Bray waiting on deck here for Armstrong. So ball and 2 strikes to the leadoff hitter in the top of the second. Knock to the left side, and that'll be through. Base hit. So third hit of the game now in the early going for Armstrong as Heumann knocks one through. And Patrick Bray will be the hitter.
Nice swing by Heumann, solid contact. Again, just through the left side of that infield. Armstrong gets the leadoff runner here in the top of the second.
Toss over to first to keep him honest. Rough attempt there, and it's taken for a strike. Taken low for a ball there. Bray will be followed up by Mosley and Parsons here as Armstrong tries to get something going in the top of the second. In the dirt, and a nice pick by Peterson.
Nice scoop by Peterson there. That ball was down in the dirt early, and he backhanded it and came up clean to keep the runner on at first.
And driven out to left field, but it's going to hang up, and the out recorded as Heumann has to retreat to first base. So solid contact there from Bray, but really no difficulty for Corchain to get underneath that one.
Yeah, nice first step by Corchain there to come in on that ball. It sounded like it was hit pretty hard off the bat. It was, but it was kept pretty low. So a few steps in and gets that easy first out of the inning.
Travis Mosley, the left fielder, taking a ball here for Armstrong. And Peterson called on to make another block there. Nice job. You know, you see catchers that drill where you get your chest protector down and smothering the ball.
Yeah, another thing you can work on in the gym as much as you want, but until you get on the field, it's a different type of experience, and to execute in the field is a much better showing than it is in the gym.
Tapper to short. Oh, and safe at second. Stein firing the ball there and unable to hold on to it. So runners at first and second now. I thought Stein would probably come to first with this ball. He turns and throws, and I'm not too sure he was going to be out even if that ball had been held onto.
Yeah, I think he realized he was in a position where he had to overhand throw that to get it to the second baseman quick enough to try and beat the runner. If he underhands it, he probably doesn't have a chance, but because safer bet would have been to go to first, but he went to second, and they weren't able to get the out.
So Reese Parsons will bat. What do you think, Drew? Infield hit, or is that going to be an error?
I think it's an infield hit. It's early in the season.
All right. There's a strike here to Parsons. So both of the first 2 innings, Armstrong's had a couple of singles early, and first and second, 1 out. Cut and a miss there by Reese Parsons.
Parsons a little ahead of that one. It was a good pitch to drive, but he's just got to wait and sit on it, and he's just a little eager and got out ahead of that one.
Ooh, sharp breaker there. Peterson looked like he might have been crossed up, and both runners are going to move up.
That was I don't know if that was just a straight curveball or a knuckle. That ball had very little spin on it, but it broke quite a bit.
I have to score that as a pass ball here on Peterson. It really seemed
I think it's a knuckleball.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Wow, and that was a really hard thrown knuckleball. That's one of the better knuckleballs I've seen thrown at this level.
Peterson, it's a tough ball to handle, but it hits him in the mid, so I have to give him a pass ball. Second and third now for Armstrong. Nice stop here.
Yeah, those knuckleballs are so tough to catch, and when they're coming in that hard, it's such a tough thing for the catcher to judge, because the hitter has to try and hit it, but for the catcher, they also have to try and stop it.
Yeah, it almost looked like the way he threw it. I think knuckle curve, what you said first, might have been what that is. And a rip and a miss here, and Parsons down on strike, so Dobler comes back with a big out.
Yeah, I'd like to see that pitch again, because I definitely, when it came out of his hand, it looked like it. Here's a strikeout. I think the pitch before was a knuckle, maybe a knuckle curve, maybe a knuckle, but yeah, he definitely looked like he had a finger up top above that ball, which is it's an interesting pitch to watch be thrown.
Jordan Page, the center fielder now, with 2 in scoring position and 2 out. He takes a first pitch strike. Pretty key at bat here early in the game here. If he knocks, if he's able to find a gap here or find at least a hole in the infield, he might drive in 2, but if not, Dobler will get out of another jam. Lifted up to center field, and this one's going to be playable with no problem for Clem. And so once again, Dobler able to work out of trouble here in the top of the second. No runs, 2 base hits, no errors, and 2 left aboard. We go to the bottom of 2. It's still scoreless here between Armstrong and Park Center.
Hey Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
And welcome back here to Park Center. Not the warmest day in history here. As you see, the blanket, which is always what you should bring to a game. I forgot today, otherwise I would have had one with as well. No score
John
on the
Jacobson
board.
would be disappointed in you, Wilcox.
Well, that's the way it goes. Won't be the first time or the last. No runs, 4 hits for Armstrong so far. Park Center got a couple of base runners with a walk and a single in their half of the first. Now they will bat in the second. Trey Stork, Mason Clem, and Matt Dobler will get set to step in against left-hander Adam Bewin of Armstrong.
Yeah, it's definitely a hands in the pockets, blanket kind of day. If you're a spectator here, if you're out in the field moving around, I think you a little better opportunity to stay warm. But soft breeze, but it definitely doesn't feel like it got up to 65 degrees. It's cooler than that.
Trey Stork 0 for 1 with a walk in their first game against Cooper, and had just 1 at bat last year on the varsity level. Takes a strike. strike two. Hasn't been all smooth sailing for the pitchers, but they both done a nice job of making pitches when they needed to, when they've been in a little bit of a jam.
Yeah, a couple singles here, a couple singles there, but both pitchers have been pretty effective and efficient on the mound.
That one taken for a ball. Yeah, and you think about the hits that they've mostly been ground balls that have kind of found their way through.
Yeah, we haven't really seen too many line drive, anything that would cause too much damage, but still a lot of baseball to be played.
And a called third strike at the knees as Stork becomes the third consecutive strikeout victim of Bwin there. He got out of the last inning with a pair of Ks and now starts the second. And another look at this one.
Yeah, another pitch down there at the knees, just on the outside corner of the plate. And, if you're consistently around the plate early in the game, the umpire is going to start to give you the benefit of the doubt, and I think that's what we're starting to see here with Bwin.
There's a strike. And let's be honest here too. The umpire knows it's not going to get any warmer by the end of the game too. I mean, I think you're going to see he wants guys up there to swing too.
Yep.
And this one a little soft liner. Wow! And Drew Hyde gets over to snare it. Nice job there defensively. You don't normally think of first base as a position that you need a great glove or whatever, but Drew Hyde coming up with a very nice catch right there for Armstrong, and just a little spinner into foul territory and making the leap on the run.
Using all that 6'4" frame. If he's 5'8", 5'9", he's probably not going to get that ball, but it pays off to have a tall frame over there at first.
Matt Dobler taking a ball as he steps in here, so that's kind of almost like a bonus out if you're Armstrong right there. If that ball got over his head, it would have been foul. And, nobody would have blamed him if he didn't catch it or thought much of it. It just would have been a foul ball. But, you really help your pitcher out when you make, a play that's a little above and beyond like that.
Yeah, not only do you keep the runner off base, but you also keep that pitch down.
Taken for a ball there by Dobler. Drew Hyde, nice hockey season for Armstrong Cooper this year too, and got a chance to play in the grade 8 tournament over in South St. Paul. Here's a chopper to short. Throw to first, close play, but he just got him. They really took their time there, and Dobler hustled out of the box, and I thought he might beat that one out. And coaches for Armstrong saying, let's make sure we get rid of that one a little bit quicker, but they get the out. No runs, no hits, and no one left. So we've completed 2 full now here at Park Center. It is 0-0, the Falcons and the Pirates.
Get it.
Get it.
Get it.
Give your town a reason to celebrate, because every Goodwill item you bring home brings job training and more to your community. Goodwill. Bring good home.
And we head to inning number 3 here. No score on the board, although it hasn't had the feel of a game where the pitchers have just kind of mowed through. There have been runners all the time, and there have been threats, but they get out of trouble here so far. So staying at 0-0. Park Center pitcher Dobler here completing his warm-up tosses as the top of the order will come up for Armstrong. Pertula, Shell, and Fliss will bat in this 3rd inning. Pertula fly to right field his first time up.
Yeah, Jay, like you said, both teams have had their chances to score, but the pitchers have consistently been throwing strikes and getting themselves out of jams when they need to.
And a rip and a miss.
Good strong first strike there. Batter out ahead of it and early. It is again.
Up the middle, Stein ranging over and throws him out. So 1 gone here in the 3rd.
You guys got that Exmo camera out here this time? You want to see that ball in super slow-mo. Nice play by the shortstop. Good pitch, though. Those pitches seem like they'd be pretty hard to hit, but solid contact up the middle and Good clean play by the shortstop. And, again, these are the things that you, from a coach's perspective, that's the stuff you want to see, the routine thing you can execute from the beginning to the end of the play. Make sure you get that out.
Tyler Schell, the batter, takes that one way up high. He had a single his first time up. Takes that one for a strike. And lifts this one foul and out of play, and thank you for missing our CCX truck there. Not a real near miss, but rip and a miss. Peterson will have to throw to first, and they get the out. Second strikeout recorded.
That is a tough pitch to hit, and it's a nice out pitch, especially when you don't have runners on the base. You can take that. That's an interesting
tumbler.
pitch.
I think it is a knuckle curve, because it has a lot of downward drop to it naturally anyway.
Yeah. And he seems to have a different grip. It's not the traditional curve, and you can see when he puts his finger on top of that ball.
Taking for a ball here. Tyler Fliss had a single his first time up.
It's fun to watch pitchers try and experiment with that stuff, but when they can actually throw it well, it's really fun to see at this level.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you go watch kids practice to playing catch, eventually guys start trying to throw knuckleballs. And probably 99% of them either don't really move or go wildly off target. But boy, every once in a while, if you can really harness that, I mean, it's a
tough pitch, and it's a really good change. I mean, it's a change of speed. It moves quite a bit, and it's a great pitch to have in your arsenal. You can ask Rick Retzroth. He had a kid in his team that had a pretty good knuckler. He really didn't throw many strikes, but.
Well, and if you can, use it in certain spots too, where it's not going to be that big of a deal if it's, in the dirt or even a foot outside or whatever.
So it's so important to see pitchers get ahead in the count, so it frees up those pitches that, you can, if you miss it, it's not going to really put you in that bad of a position.
Fouled back here and out of play. And these teams don't face each other enough that, it's very likely Armstrong had any idea that that was going to be coming out of Dobler's hand either. So
yeah, definitely. And I mean, when sections come around, that's something they'll note and say, hey, watch out for this pitch, because we probably won't see it again for the rest of the year. So when he hits the mound and we're facing it, be aware of it.
Driven hard to right, and that one will drop in. No, just foul. See if Dobler will come with that knuckle curve again here. And it is in the dirt for ball 4.
Risky pitch to throw with 3 balls, but he's been throwing it around the plate, so he seems to have quite a bit of confidence in it. Didn't get him that time, though.
So a 2-out walk. We're going to see the courtesy runner, Jack Major, come out again, and I'm guessing this time he's going to run all the way through to second if there's a ball in the infield. You're just joining us earlier, Major. There was a force play at second where the shortstop Stein threw over to second, and the ball was actually dropped, but Major had already peeled off and was running back toward the dugout. And so he was going to be out automatically there either way.
Yeah, I mean, it was a pretty common play to peel off that early. It was easily going to be out had the play been executed, and the umpire decided to call it out because it was on the transition, the transfer, but had the runner continued harder to second base, it would have made the decision a little more difficult for the umpire to make that out call.
Drew Ide hitting, runner at first and 2 gone. That one up high, taken for a ball, so Eyed ahead in the count here. And ball 4, so back-to-back walks now given up.
We're going to see a mound visit here. Not in line with what we've seen for the first 2 innings, but he's still only 1 out away from getting out of this jam, and he's been throwing pitches when he needs to thus far. And I think coach just wants to settle him down and make sure that he knows he's got a good team behind him, and get back into that groove of throwing strikes. Don't get too cocky and try and throw too many knuckle curves or paint the corners. Throw strikes, get ahead in the count, and let these guys behind you make the plays.
Doesn't seem as though there's any thought of lifting him right yet, so Coach Johnson will head back to the dugout here as 2 on and 2 out now for Armstrong, and Bo Human, the hitter. He had a single his first time up.
Yeah, Armstrong's definitely put themselves in position to grab the early lead here this afternoon, but Park Center's done a good job of getting themselves out of a jam and keeping this game at 0-0.
Falcons took it to Park Center pretty good when they met a year ago. 11-1 was the outcome in their lone meeting. There's a strike, but I think last year we really ran into a situation, maybe more so than any other season, where you kind of had to look at, where teams were in their week. If you're seeing one team's number 1 pitcher against the other team's number 4, chances are you're going to see, some of those different kind of results. We said, and that goes, both ways for, you can probably pick out examples of that for both of these teams during their schedule a year ago.
Yeah, because when you get that mid-April snowstorm of 2 feet or whatever it was, not only does that cancel the next 2 days, but the whole next week, the fields are going to be soaking wet. And, teams are going to be juggling their schedules and their rosters around it. I think there's one point where some teams are playing 4 or 5 games in a single week back-to-back, and that just has got to be so hard on your pitching staff.
Yeah, you get to the point where you're adds that one in the dirt and gets away from Peterson. The runners will move up. So a wild pitch there. And I say you get to the point where you're kind of, asking around among your kids, who pitched quite a bit in Little Leaguers. I mean, really.
Yeah. Yeah, and as you're ramping up towards sections, you want to keep people fresh. And if you're dealing with an injury here, an injury there, you really put in a tough position from a managerial perspective. Again, Park Center just 1 out away from getting out of this jam, and Armstrong has a good chance to grab a lead here and see what happens.
Human lifting went out to center field, but again, it's going to be playable and caught by Clem. So all 3 innings have been the same. Armstrong's got nice threats going, but not able to push anything across. No runs, no base hits, no errors, and a couple left aboard for the Falcons in the top of the 3rd. We're still at 0-0 here on CCX.
Our hearts are made stronger by how we treat others.
Put her there.
The light you share can impact those around you, but so can the darkness.
Later, twerps.
Did Pete saying mean things bother you?
So when you reach out to another person, take a moment to consider how they will feel and let your heart be the key to making a difference. Because of you, someone's entire day, year, or even life can change.
In every heart, there's hope.
And welcome back here to Park Center as we get set for the bottom half of the 3rd. Pirates trying to see if they can be the first team to break through and get one on the board after each team has, not really lacked for base runners, but pitchers making pitches when they need to, and some defensive plays as well that have helped them out a little bit. So PC will have the 9, 1, and 2 hitters coming up, and that starts with Nate Corshane, the sophomore left fielder. First pitch swinging and a cut and a miss. Did not play in the Cooper victory. And Bwin having a little trouble throwing a strike here early in this third inning.
You know, it's one of the very few pitches we've seen that he hasn't really kept around the plate. He's been off to a really good start, even if they, the Pirates have gotten runners on base. He's been putting the ball down the strike zone.
Comes right back though with a nice strike there, so 2-2.
Good pitch coming for us. Nice curveball down in the dirt or a fastball to knees.
A little chopper, foul. Yeah, nice pickup there by Coach.
Lead by example.
Hey, you never hear the end of it from your high school kids if they
missed that one,
boot one, right? Fastball just missed. Popping this one back and out of play.
Just missed the truck.
And jammed him there. It's going to be just foul. Much to the relief of Nate there. When you're the hitter, you're thinking, go, get down there, because it's going to be an easy out if it's fair.
He put that ball in play. He was very late to swing, but he definitely fended it off and kept this at bat alive.
And there's ball 4. So Nate Corshane, good at bat there, working out a walk. So the leadoff man aboard here in the third for the Pirates. And Jackson Dwyer will hit. He walked in his first time to the plate. Takes a strike here. Haven't really seen too much action on the base paths yet. See if they would consider trying to run. Bwin as a lefty, a little tough to get a good read on, I think, especially for a young base runner. But
Bwin doing a good job changing up his pace. He actually almost halted his delivery there and almost got called for a balk, but kept his motion going and had the runner diving back to first as he delivered it to home.
Close one there, taken for a ball by Dwyer. Was going, and that one sliced foul down the right field line.
Yeah, good position here for Park Center. You got that 9-hitter leadoff hitter on base, and you got a good hitter here up with your leadoff hitter, and gives you an opportunity to put the runner in motion and try and go first to third here and put yourself in a really good position to grab the early lead.
Another one driven foul and out of play down the right field line.
He's just missing these. He's making good contact, but he's just a little late.
See, we've got a new catcher in here. Alex Haberly is behind the plate now. I didn't pick up on that immediately. Not sure if something happened with Fliss or.
It's a big hitter to have out of the lineup too. He's not batting.
And Tapper fouls. The runner was moving again. And a miss, and Bwin wins the battle here as he strikes out Dwyer for out number 1.
Nice 2-2 breaking ball to get that first out of the inning and keep their runner from advancing. Great pitch here.
Strikeout number 4 in the game for Bwin, and Tanner Sherva is the batter. Sherva pounding one to second, and that one will go right through. And runner heading to third, so there'll be runners at the corners. Error on the second baseman, Bray there. So Sherva bouncing one, putting it in play anyway. And so runners at the corners here for the Pirates, and one out. Tanner Stein will be the batter.
Yes, soft grounder to second baseman, just caught him up on the shoulder and rolled right over his glove, and heads up running by the lead runner to get over to third base. And now Park Center has a good opportunity to grab this lead.
So first and third, one out. Tanner Stein up. He had a single in his first at bat. Pounding it to the left side, and that one's through for a hit, and Park Center is on the board. As Stein singles in Corshane with the first run of the game. It's 1-0 PC.
Nice job by Stein to jump early in the count or the at bat and put that ball and play on the left side. The left side of the infield was playing midway up, trying to keep that runner at third from advancing, but that also gives a little more real estate over there for the ball to scoop by on the left side of the infield. Maybe not halfway in, but I don't think it was as deep as he usually was with that runner on third base, and he wasn't able to get an angle to keep that ball in the infield.
So Peterson will hit now, first and second, still one out, one run yet. Looks at a breaking ball outside there. Peterson took a called third strike his first time up, so 0 for 1. And that one's a called strike.
This is one of those situations where you want to give your pitcher an opportunity to keep their head in it. Don't let that air really let things spiral out of control, like I said in the pregame. You know, focus in, get the next 2 outs, and get out of this inning.
Taken for a ball there, 2-1. Sun starting to peek out a little bit more here. Peterson, a big cut, but didn't get it, so 2 balls and 2 strikes. Tapper to short, and that one is going to get through as well. Another run will score. Ball bobbled in the outfield too, and they're sending the runner to the plate. Ide will throw late. Couple of runs score. Armstrong melting down a little bit in the field here. And it's 3-0 Pirates.
Tough play there for Armstrong. That ball took a nice couple cherry hops towards the shortstop, and then when it hits that dirt, it just stays down, and it really catches the infielder off guard. He was waiting for it to bounce up, and it caught, bounced right towards that lip and in the dirt, and it didn't continue to bounce up and scoots under the glove, and allows Park Center to get that first run across there. And then as you see, that ball was bobbled in the outfield, and Park Center being aggressive on the bait pass and gets that second runner to come by, and all of a sudden they're up to a 3-0 lead.
Boy, I think in two, besides the physical mistake, Armstrong wasn't terribly alert that Stein was coming. I think even with the bobble in the outfield, they would have had him if they'd made the play.
Yeah, Sobiak was he was out calling time with the umpire before that second runner even crossed home plate. He saw it all unfold in slow motion, and he's trying to get his team to put their heads in it. And just when that ball's in play and things happen, it's easy to have a mental lapse like that. And that's what you want to make sure that you're aware of. Hey, it happened. It's behind us. Now let's move forward and not let that happen again and get out of this inning.
Saw Jace Cruz coming in to run for Peterson, a courtesy runner situation as Peterson is the catcher. Jose Gonzalez, the batter now for Park Center. He struck out his first time up. Pirates now building a 3-0 lead and threatening to add more. Still just one out, a runner in scoring position. And it gets away from Haberly, and he can't find it. It's near the umpire. And that will advance the runner over to third on a wild pitch.
Yeah, tough spot. The ball bounced just behind him, but the umpire backed up, and it kind of just blocked his line of sight to see that ball in the dirt. And for Buin, it's got to be a frustrating position to be in, having such a strong start to this game, and then all of a sudden they're down 3-0. But he's still got to focus and throw strikes like he's been doing, because it's not his fault.
Yeah, you don't want your teammates, to get on you when you give up, a double or home run. So likewise, when they make an error behind you, it's kind of your job to not let them feel bad about that too.
Yeah, and you just don't want to make sure, you want to make sure that you're not trying to overdo things. You just continue to keep throwing strikes and hit that strike zone.
And that one is going to be through for a hit. And a run will score, and then it gets passed in the outfield, and Gonzalez will steam into second. Score it as a single, and then an error on the left fielder. So third error of the inning by the Falcons. And Drew, we talked, a lot about from where we're looking at it, is the field looking nice and everything, and there might be a little bit more to bumpiness in the outfield than you realize there, I think.
Yeah, it's in good condition, but it's still hard. It's still hard, and when it hits those bumps, it's going to bounce unexpectedly, whereas during the summer, if it's soft, it's not going to bounce nearly as much.
Stork a swing and a miss, and still definitely considered an error there. Mosley, there might be a spot where you might need to really kind of play that a little more like you're playing a grounder in the infield. Maybe get down to one knee and just kind of be sure on a ball like that. I mean, it's easy to say from out here because it clearly did take a bad bounce. But
yeah, you want to keep it in front of you. If it rolls up your shoulder and behind you, that's the worst thing, or it rolls underneath your glove, you want to do what you can to keep it in front of you, because then the runner won't have that opportunity to advance it further.
Taken for a ball. Stork was the strikeout victim his first time up, so Gonzalez knocking in a run for the Pirates to make it 4-zip. Lifts this one back, foul and out of play. And there's a called third strike for out number 2, a big one there for Bwin. And now Mason Clem will be the hitter for PC.
Good crisp breaking ball on the outside side of the plate to get that second out.
There's a strike to Clem. He fouled out to the first baseman Ide, who made that nice leaping catch down the first baseline in foul territory. And there's strike 2. Just got a piece of that breaking ball.
Good defensive swing there. He got caught off guard in that curveball, but he put the bat on the ball and kept this at bat alive.
Missed with the fastball there. So Bwin trying to work out of trouble. His defense has let him down a little bit in this inning, and again, certainly possible early season, bounces could be part of that too. I'm not going to get too down on the fielders, but
yeah,
the truth is they didn't end up making the plays.
Yeah.
Foul back and out of play.
But if you're Armstrong in this position, you're down 4-0 midway through the game. You also have to know that you aren't playing your cleanest game, but you can't let that ruin your day. You got to know that your pitcher's still throwing a great game out there. Just the minor issues have really put them in a position where they're down, and they just got to get back into the dugout and keep hitting the ball when they're at the plate.
There's a called third strike, so Bwin fights back to get out of it, but it's a good inning for Park Center as they come up with 4 runs in the inning on 2 base hits, 3 costly errors for Armstrong, and they leave 1. It's 4-0 Pirates through 3.
I'm Jenny Garth, and as a mother of 3, I know kids worry about a lot of things. Getting enough food to eat shouldn't be one of them. But here in America, that is a real worry for 1 in 5 children. This is unacceptable, and something Feeding America is working to solve. Through a nationwide network of food banks, Feeding America serves virtually every community in the United States, including yours. See how you can help your community. Visit feedingamerica.org. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
And we head to inning number 4 as Park Center has broken through with 4 big runs in the third. They lead it 4-0. Armstrong will have the 6, 7, 8 spots coming up. Bray, Mosley, and Parsons, the scheduled batters here for the Falcons. And again, they've had, at least 2 runners or 2 batters on in every inning so far. So I'm sure they're not feeling like, they're out of it or don't have a chance to come back. But just at this point, they are staring at a 4-run deficit, and they've seen Dobler get out of trouble when he's needed to make good pitches.
Yeah, a lot of new numbers in that box score that we just saw. Park Center putting up 4 runs in that bottom half of the third, and Armstrong unfortunately committing 3 errors, and Park Center just put the ball in play and got a few runners across the board. And what Armstrong needs to do is they just need to keep putting the ball in play and hope things start to bounce their way.
There's a strike to Bray. Bray flied out to left field his first time up. Part of the plate for a strike.
As a spectator here and color commentator, but really from a spectator's perspective, this has been a really good game, good pitching. And early in the spring, it's not often that you really get great pitching, good solid pitching on both sides of the diamond.
Set that one outside. Dobler wanted that one, but it's ball 3 now, 3-2 count. Pop back foul and out of play. Turns on this one, and it's just foul.
A lot of chatter here. It's a fun atmosphere. It's a lot of energy, a lot of chatter between these two teams. And it's fun to be at a stadium or a field where you can hear the chatter between the coaches and the players. We went to a spring training game, and there's not that many people at the game, so you can actually hear the outfielders talking to each other and joking about the batter. And then, get a target field, and you can't really hear that because there's so much going on.
Another one lifted back, foul and out of play. Yeah, the fans seem to be in mid-season form here, don't they? A lot of times at section time, you'll get a crowd where you can hear everybody pretty well and everything, but not always in the regular season. That one in the dirt for a ball. Bray trotting to first when he really should be running hard there. And he'll be aboard as that ball got to the backstop. You want to at least be getting down there in a hurry and taking a look, but I don't know if he realized it got by.
Yeah, I don't think he did, but yeah, that's a really tough play for the catcher because not only is it a long throw, but it's a different distance throw because usually you see the distance, but then it's a much longer throw when you're behind the plate to try and throw it down to second base.
So Mosley is a hitter. He had a single his first time up. Fire to first again. Another one to first. And Dobler's not going halfway with this. He's really turning and throwing hard to first. There's a strike at the knees. Doesn't really seem like too likely a running situation, though, down by 4.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, it's just one of those things. Maybe there's a history. I don't know, but he's definitely throwing it over there with a little gas on it.
Taken for a ball there, and it looked like Peterson might have come up out of his crouch a little early there, looking toward the runner, and that probably didn't help in terms of maybe getting a strike call there. Another throw to first. Keeping them busy, making them get dirty. Bray, I will say this, is getting a pretty quality lead, and that's, you know, maybe drawing their attention a little bit too. And dropping down a bunt. Juggled by Dobler, throw to first base just in time. So Mosley will be out. Runner Bray going to second. And Dobler had some trouble coming up with this one.
Yeah, good composure by him. He didn't come up with it cleanly, but he didn't rush it too much, but he squared up and got a good solid throw over to first base to get that runner. And also, you know, allows the first baseman to come up quick and make sure that runner at second doesn't get too risky and try to run down a third.
Logan Elens is going to step up to bat here now in the number 8 spot, hitting for Reese Parsons. Kind of a bang-bang play at first, and like one that we saw earlier the other way, I thought, not so sure they really got him there, but.
Yeah, it was a close play. It was definitely a close play.
So we're late enough in the game that you know, they feel important enough to send up a pinch hitter here. Elens takes a strike. Skies this one out of play down the right field line. Ooh, in the dirt. Peterson having to make a nice block there.
Stopped by Peterson a couple plays earlier in the game. He just kind of backhanded and scooped those, but the runner on at second base did a nice job of getting those knees down in the dirt and using his chest to block that ball.
High chopper up the middle. Stein will go to first. Throw was high and just got him as Gonzalez had to make his way back to the bag there. And they'll get the out 6-3. Runner does move over to third. No question the ball beat him there, and no question that Gonzalez did come off the bag. It's just a matter, did he get back in time here?
Yeah, not the longest frame over there, but just long enough on that throw, and he's quick enough to get his foot back on the bag.
He did touch the edge of the bag with his foot. Good call there.
Good awareness of where he was at in the field and his proximity to the bag, and you know, he didn't even really have to look. He just knew where his foot needed to be and put it there and got that out.
So runner at third, 2 outs for Jordan Page now, the number 9 hitter in the Armstrong lineup. Looks at a ball there. He flied to center field his first time up. So Armstrong, you know, don't want to strand, and they'd love to chip away at least, even if they only got one this inning, would you know, help their cause a little bit. They've had some base runners, but just not been able to bring them in. And they'll do so now. Armstrong on the board as Page strokes a single to left field. Bray is in, and it's a 4-1 ball game.
Yeah, it's just one run, but it does a lot for the mentality of the team and the bench and the players coming up to the plate, knowing like, hey, we can put this ball in play. And all we need to do is take it one run at a time. We're not going to, you know, all of a sudden tie it up with only one runner on base. Do it one run at a time and just keep getting batters on base and see what happens.
Perdola will step up, and he lifts one out to right field. A long run, and it's going to drop. It should score a run. Perdola digging into second. And there will not be a throw to the plate. It's 4-2. Page around to score as Perdola able to drive one just beyond the reach there of the right fielder, Sherva.
I thought he was going to come up with that. That was a well-hit ball to the right center field, but just out of the reach of the right fielder, and that runner was moving quickly, and he comes around to score that second run for Armstrong. Just out of the reach. A couple hard hit balls back to back by Armstrong, and all of a sudden they're down back in this game, only down by 2.
So, going to see a pitching change here for Park Center, as Zach Poppy will come in to loosen up here. Trying to protect a 4-2 lead. Poppy did pitch an inning in the win over Cooper on Friday and did not allow any runs. He allowed 1 hit, struck out 2. And a year ago he pitched 15 innings. He was 1-0 for the Pirates. So Armstrong, we said, you know, you can't get it all back at once, but just kind of keep putting at bats together, and that's what we're seeing. So Poppy coming in. Tyler Shell will try and keep the ball rolling here for Armstrong. He got a runner on second, 2 outs, 2 runs in. They're now to within 4-2. Shell is 1 for 2. Takes it up high and out of the zone. And ball 2.
Just up in the zone, almost got that strike called, but just a little bit up above the belt.
There's the strike.
Grooved that one in there for the first strike, and I think Shell was waiting to crush that one, but he really wanted to take a strike here.
Waved at that one, so Poppy trying to come in and get out of this inning with no more damage done. Smacks it to the left side, and that one is going to get through for a hit. There could be a play at the plate. Here comes the throw. Not in time, and it's 4-3, and Shell will move up to second on the play. Well, with 2 outs, you could be running right from the get-go here, and Pertola able to turn the corner and get here. As you see the throw, not too bad, but not enough, not quite perfect enough to get him there.
Yeah, and the ball not moving too fast through the infield. It was hit hard, but once it hits that ground, it kind of dies, and it's tough for that left fielder to get the ball in quick enough to get a good solid throw and a good play at the plate. So Armstrong here now within 1 run.
Alex Haberly is the batter now for Armstrong as he came in defensively in this catching position. And now getting his first time to bat here in the place of Fliss. And I'm not entirely sure if Fliss had an injury or there's a throw down. They got him. Shell is picked off. And so Park Center able to get out of the inning with a big play, although Armstrong does get its first 3 runs. 3 runs on 3 base hits. No errors for the Pirates, and courtesy of that pickoff, no one left on board. It is 4-3 Park Center.
This is the story of a boy who is very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable. One day, he found out he had something called autism. His family got him help, and slowly, he learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Welcome back. Some K9 fans on hand here as well. This one is tightened up. Park Center got 4 in the bottom of the third, and Armstrong comes back with 3 in the top of the fourth. And a new pitcher coming on. A.J. Sternix will get the call here for Armstrong, a left-hander, and one of their better returning pitchers from a year ago. Sternix last season worked in 7 games, 12 2/3 innings. He was 0-1, couple of saves, and a 3.87 earned run average.
Good early season game here between these two teams here in Park Center and Brooklyn Park. With Armstrong, coming back, it looked like they were going to be down and out after that 4-run inning, giving up 4 runs to Park Center. But, they came back and put the ball in play, and they got a couple nice bounces for them. And sure enough, they're back within it, and they're back in the game within 1 run. I think for both coaches, it's good to see, get extra players in there, get everybody in the game early in the season, so they feel like they're part of the team. They don't, they're not put in a position where they're wondering where they're going to get playing time, and they kind of get the early rust off the arm and off the bats, and they get a team from top to bottom. It's not just a starting 9 and a couple extra pitchers. You want a full team once the season starts to get going.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, because I had that exact conversation with Brian Sobiak last week at practice. He said, gosh, I really like the years when we need to use, 15 players where you get a role developed and maybe somebody just shows a knack for being a really good pinch hitter. Or maybe they're a good defensive replacement that can come in when you're ahead by a run late, and he said, so they all feel like when they come to practice or they come to the game day that they're all ready to go and they all feel part of the team.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously some years you're going to have guys who are going to play almost all the time because they're that good, but it's nice when you can find roles for everybody too. Sternix, 3 straight past Poppy there, and you could see a little extra pop on his fastball compared to the other pitchers we've seen in the game so far.
Yeah, he's got a little zip on his fastball. And like you were saying, Jay, that comes down to coaching, getting a team to be a team. Yeah, of course, everybody wants to start. But if, you can get those bench players to feel like they're part of the team early in the season, there's going to be confidence building, there's going to be team building, it's going to pay off down the road.
Cut and a miss. And even if, maybe you have one kind of specialty skill, if you're fast and you can be, learn to be a good base runner, and might get out there that way. I know in some other years with his team and others, you see somebody that maybe they make the varsity as a 10th grader, not ready to start all the time, but they're consistently used as a courtesy runner or a pinch runner. And then the next 2 years, they're kind of, more ready for varsity play that way, I think.
Well, you see that so often in basketball, in football too, but I mean, you look at the Hopkins girls and really the Hopkins girls team, and you get these 7th, 8th graders to play in the state tournament, and then all the time, by the time they're a sophomore or junior, they're all state, all metro, and it's, that's how you build a franchise or a dynasty in a program like that. And it's hard to do in baseball because the season's so short, you never know what you're going to be dealing with, but that's what makes the season memorable and fun for the players, and then the coaches, and then the fans.
Sternix a little bit of trouble throwing strikes right here, and of course Shane trying to get aboard. He drew a walk last time up. Rip and a miss at a fastball here. Yeah, that one was way outside, and of course Shane will draw the 1-out walk.
Yeah, he's just got to keep finding that zone. He's got a fastball that's going to be tough to catch up with, so he's just got to stay around that zone and keep pounding that zone with strikes.
Jackson Dwyer, the hitter now for Park Center. He had a walk and then last time up struck out. Both of those against the starter B win, obviously. Runner was going and sliced into right field for a hit. But Gorshane is going to hang on at second there. It was kind of a hit and run, in which, you know, normally you're hoping to get a guy to third. I don't think he picked the ball up real well there and kind of was maybe a little tentative coming into second.
Yeah, and it was hit so hard. It got out of the infield so hard to the right fielder. He didn't really have too much of a chance. So he kind of had to hold up because he didn't want to get hit by the ball and, you know, get called out. But, you know, he did his job and got down to second and got that second baseman moving, which enabled that ground ball to make it into right field.
Ooh. That one nearly clipping Tanner Sherva in the chin. He just spun out of the way there.
It's my worst nightmare, my biggest fear as a baseball player.
Lefty on lefty, too. Yeah. It makes it even harder.
You know, now you got him stepping in the bucket. It's hard as a hitter to come back after that.
Down low for a ball there. Sherva had a flyout and then last time reached on an error as part of that sequence of tough defensive inning for Armstrong. And Park Center put 4 on the board in the bottom of the third. Sternix, you can see, has stuff, but he's been a little bit wild.
Yeah, he's not as around the plate as B-Win was, but he's thrown the ball harder. He's just got to find that zone.
Tapper down to first. They'll get the out there, then they'll throw to second. Not in time. So tag play obviously needed there. And oh, is this foul?
Call a foul.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I thought they had the out call at first.
Yeah, and with runners on, you got that other umpire over there in the center of the infield, and it's up to the home plate umpire to make that call.
Well, and I did the right thing. You treat it as though it's a fair ball. And I kind of followed his lead there. Actually, I didn't see anybody say different. Slice back foul there by Sherva.
It's a big lead at second.
And Sternix realizes it too, and he throws down there. And didn't quite get him. Shell actually looked like he got tangled up with the runner a little bit, or at least had to dance around him.
Yeah, I think if he got him on the first pass with the shortstop, he probably would have had the out, but hesitated a bit.
And there's a called third strike, and Sternix will win the battle over Sherva there. And 2 outs in the inning, and Tanner Stein will step up for PC.
That out pitch goes back to earlier in the count where he was up and in the zone. It opened up that outside part of the plate with the batter already having an open stance. Being aware of that up and in pitch, that's a really, really tough pitch to hit when it's on the outside corner.
Stein is 2 for 2 today. Takes a ball there. There's a strike.
And that's where you want to see him throwing strikes. Down at the knees, hard, straight fastballs at the knees.
Well, 4-3 game and 2 guys on. You don't want to walk him here, but at the same time, I don't think you want to give anything too great to hit to Stein here either. He's certainly one of the better hitters for the Pirates, and there is a pitch called strike up around the letters. I think Stein's looking back a couple times saying,
Yeah. That's a tough pitch to take, but it seemed a little high, but it's close enough that the umpire's going to give him the benefit of the doubt.
That one misses. 2-2. Fights that one off, fouls it back out of play.
Same pitch we saw a couple pitches ago up at the letters. That time he decided to defend the plate and not get that third strike called, or even take the risk of having that being called a strike.
Sternix trying to work out of trouble here and keep his team within a run. And there's the ball.
I think that's the first off-speed pitch we've seen, and he left that one a little up in the zone. Good take there to work this count full.
3-2 offering is outside for ball 4, and Stein will draw the walk to load him up.
Big spot in the game here for Armstrong. See if Sternick gets to go back into the lineup where he seemed to be a little more comfortable, and definitely wants to keep throwing strikes, but also wants to keep that ball out of the dirt. We haven't seen too much in the dirt from him yet, but something you want to keep in mind with the runner on third.
Riley Peterson is the batter, and that one is off the glove of Haberly, and it's going to allow a run to score. Make it 5-3. All the runners move up.
Tough play for the catcher there. That ball coming in with Sternick's throwing the ball so hard. It's up in the zone, but it pops off his glove and makes it to the backstop, and Park Center able to sneak another run across the plate.
No doubt the ball is high, but I'm going to have to go pass ball on that one. It hit him pretty square in the glove.
Yep.
That one is a strike. So 5-3 lead for Park Center, and 2 more still in scoring position with their cleanup hitter up. And that one missing up high. And way outside with that one as Haberly had to range over to get it. Peterson, I'm sure, would love to drive in a run or two, but if a walk is what comes his way, then that would be okay too. A rip and a miss.
Took a little bit off that one, and that time he found the zone and kept it right over the plate.
High and away, and Peterson will walk.
Yeah, Sternick seems to be a little rattled. His pitches have been up and out consistently, which is not a good sign. You want to be at least over the plate, and then you want to work your, want to work at the knees. But if he's consistently out and up, it's not a good sign.
Cruz will be the courtesy runner again for Peterson at first base. And I see Stein still over there at third. Doesn't look like they've asked for the baseball yet from Sternick, so it seems as though they're going to stick with him.
Yeah, it's just a coaching opportunity. Get out there, talk them through, say, hey, we're early in the season. Say, hey, we got the bases loaded. We were down 4-0. If we can get this out here, we're still right in this game. Let's not, put ourselves in a worse position than we need to be. Let's, get out of this 4th inning, only down 2, and get ourselves back at the plate.
That's the thing. It's tough, though, when you come out there and first and foremost, you say you need to throw strikes, but I don't think it's that Sternick has been nibbling. It's not because he's afraid to throw a strike. He's just not been able to put it where he wants it. So Gonzalez will be the batter here. Drove in a run with a base hit last time up. A rip and a miss there.
Again, Sternick seemed to take a little bit off that one, and it seems like when he's not throwing as hard as he possibly can, he finds the strike zone. Right there again.
Another swing and a miss.
Now, last at bat, he seemed to be rushing. He seemed to be throwing. He was throwing it harder. The past 2 balls have been right over the plate, and he just seems to have a much easier flow.
And 3 straight for the strikeout there. But Park Center does tack on a run in the inning as they get 1 run on 1 base hit, 3 left on base. It is 5-3 Pirates.
CCX Media is the first place you go for local news and sports. But did you know you can sign up for those stories to go straight to your inbox on our website? Simply go to ccxmedia.org. Click on the subscribe button, and from there choose which notifications you want to receive. Then we'll send your favorite CCX Media news, sports, and city events straight to your inbox. Sign up now at ccxmedia.org.
We head to inning number 5 here on a now sunny but chilly afternoon here at Park Center as Armstrong trailing 5-3, but they will have the 3, 4, 5 spots coming up. Looks like Tyler Fliss will re-enter and come up to bat here. Haberly was up last inning when the runner was picked off at second.
Let's go, Fliss. Get it going here, kid. Yeah, it's good to get him back in the lineup. Hopefully we see him come back in a catcher, and so we know there's nothing not wrong physically with him. But to get his bat back in the lineup is a big add for Armstrong, and hopefully something they can rally around.
Zach Poppy's still on the mound for Park Center. He took over that last inning. Got out of trouble ultimately in kind of a strange way. He gave up a hit, but then picked off a runner. So Fliss had a single and a walk. Looks at that one inside for ball 1.
Bench says, take it, get on base. It's easy to say when you're on the bench, but not when you're at the plate.
Yeah, and I think it'd be easier to say if it was 75 instead of 45 or whatever, too. Lifting this one fouled on the right field line, and no chance to get to that one. I love the I think it was Park Center bench, a little smart alecky there. You got room. Well, a lot of room in foul ground, but obviously zero chance for the first baseman or right fielder to get there. Even Byron Buxton would have been nowhere near that one. This one lifted out to right field. Sherva settling under it and makes the catch.
Yeah, not the hardest hit ball, but a good job to wait for that ball to get deep in the box. Again, drive it to the right side of the field, but just not deep enough to get on base. And nice play by the right fielder.
Drew Ide will be the batter now for Armstrong. Reached on a fielder's choice and then walked. And ball 2 high and away there to Ide. And 3 straight bad ones from Poppy. And ball 4, and Drew Ide will work out a walk again for the second straight time.
Yeah, Ide's tall frame really opens up that strike zone, but none of those pitches were really even close to being called a strike. But nice job to take those balls and get on base any way you can.
Bo Uman will be the batter. Had a single and then a fly to center for the Falcons. 1 for 2 today.
Did you say it was CCX Media blanket today? Is that what you said? No. It's definitely getting cooler. Still a good crowd, though.
Taken for a ball there, and Armstrong, I think, would be...
Good call here by the shortstop to call time. I think he's seeing what we saw with Armstrong at the other half of the inning, where their pitcher was just starting to throw the ball up in the zone. Here, shortstop comes in, calls time, and says, hey, calm down, throw strikes. You got a good defense behind you. Let us make the plays.
I think sometimes pitchers get into a spot where they, they're trying so hard they almost kind of overthrow, really looking to throw that perfect pitch. There's a strike, throw down to first base, and not in time as Ide gets back in.
Yeah, and as a teammate or a coach, and you see something that's consistently not going right, you know that person's starting to feel the pressure, and especially as a pitcher, you're out there on the mound on an island by yourself. the play starts with you, and you want to just get out there and calm them down.
Taking up high for a ball there. Ooh, time called just as Poppy was going to start to deliver there. I think Park Center probably not loving that when you see their pitcher stopped right at the last second.
Yeah, he was definitely in his motion.
Caught in a miss there. Stings that one, but way foul down the left field line. Probably one of the harder hit balls of the day, actually, but nowhere near fair.
Yeah, nice line drive, just a tad early and on the wrong side of the third baseline there.
You ready for it again here, kid? You ready?
Lifting this one up. This could be a tough chance, but Stein, the shortstop, actually has a better angle at it, and he'll get out to make the catch for out number 2. And those are the kind that when they first go up, you know, you're kind of worried a little bit, but Stein did a nice job getting the angle. That's a much easier play for him than it would have been for the third baseman.
Yeah, nice job of the shortstop to make the early call and get over there as fast as you can. Don't worry about tracking the ball the entire time. Get to where you think it's going to be, then pick it up again and make that play.
So 2 outs. Patrick Bray, the hitter now for Armstrong. He's had a fly to left and a walk. Scored a run last inning in the 4th. Interesting how often you see that, where the runs kind of get bunched within just a couple innings here, like we saw. Park Center put 4 on the board, and then Armstrong answered with 3 of their own. Park Center got 1 more, so.
It's been a fun back and forth game, and again, clean pitching for the most part, and that's what you want to see. And you know, a couple errors here and there, it's to be expected early in the season, but as long as the pitchers are throwing strikes, it's fun to watch.
Yeah, I think Bwin probably deserved better than what his line is going to end up being with that one tough defensive inning for the Falcons where they committed 3 errors.
Yeah, that's a tough break for him. He's on the hook for the loss, but really he pitched pretty dang well for a team that's down 5-3.
That one way outside. Man, a rip and a miss there. So Poppy maybe a pitch away from getting out of the inning here. Full count, 1 out. Or 2 outs, I should say, and so Ide will presumably get started here from first, you'd think. He does. And this one stung out to center, but it's going to hang up and right on the line there for Clem. And so Bray hits the ball pretty well, but he will be out. So Armstrong in the 5th, no runs, no hits, no errors by the Pirates, and 1 left aboard. We go to the bottom of 5. It's 5-3 Park Center.
Your girls have been with you through every moment of your life. They were with you when you felt unbreakable, and with you when you had your heart broken. They were with you when you shared your love with the world, and with you when she became your world. They're still with you right now. But how well do you know them?
Sternek's back out there warming up for the bottom of the 5th. He will see Park Center 6, 7, and 8 spots. Stork, Clem, and Poppy, the scheduled batters here for PC.
Even in warm-ups, you can see Sternek's when he rushes himself, he's up in the zone. He's kind of laughing at himself, knowing exactly what he's doing wrong. but hopefully he can correct it when the batters come up to plate like he did towards the end of the last inning.
Does make for a little bit of uncomfortable at bats when you see that he's A, throwing hard, and B, not always sure where it's going. But
those are always the pitchers that I feared the most when I was playing, was those wild ones that threw hard, because you never know. And then when they do find it, it's like, oh, I could do that all the time. Well, you should. There's a little bit of that intimidation that comes with pitching and kind of owning the mound and having that persona of, keeping not only the hitters off balance, but a little intimidated or scared of the pitcher.
Stork was way late on that one. Strike one. He is struck out his first 2 times up. That one just off the plate. 1-1.
It's a good miss, just a little low, but good miss.
And ball 2. And that one hung out way up high. 3 balls and a strike now to the Pirates' third baseman, trying to get aboard here to start the bottom of the 5th. His team ahead 5-3. Second game of the season for both teams. Cut and a miss, and now the count runs full.
Jay, I was just looking at the weather before I came in, actually, thinking it through. We were talking about the scheduling, and it might be this second game. That might be the last game they play for a while, because it's supposed to rain all next week, too. And, after whether it's 6 or 16 inches of snow, it's going to be tough to get back out on these fields.
Stork able to work out a walk here to begin the bottom of the 5th. I'm choosing to hope otherwise, but yeah, you're probably right.
I'll be in LA. I'll be in LA. So I'm taking it to the Dodgers game next week. That'll be fun. But
Mason Clem is going to be the batter. I think we're going to see a pinch runner. And that's the. Got Matt Stansberry coming on to run for Stork at first base here. Mason Clem, who's fouled out and struck out, will step in here for PC.
You would expect Park Center to be playing a little bit of a small ball game here to try and get that runner on a second base with nobody out, but you don't want to make it too obvious and make it too easy for Armstrong to counter.
Offered at a throw to first, and they got him. Well, the runner didn't last long on the bases there. Stansberry anticipating his teammate getting that one down. It didn't happen, and Fliss throws behind him to Ide at first base, and they get the out.
Yeah, definitely something you learn as you play the game. You got to make sure that bunter gets the ball down before you make a full commit. And he was just caught totally off guard, leaning the wrong way, and easy play for the catcher to make a strong throw down to first and get that out.
And not as easy maybe as it looks for Ide to find the base runner there, because the way he was turning, he just kind of got the glove down and searching for him a little bit and able to apply the tag. Breaking ball over for a called third strike, and Clem caught looking, so Poppy will hit now with 2 outs and nobody on base for Park Center.
You can always see it in Strinick's delivery when it's going to be a strike or a good pitch. I mean, he just has a different pace and a different motion when he has a good, strong, composed throw to the plate.
Taken for a ball there. Poppy struck out last time up. Rip and a miss there. High bouncer, eyed up with it, and he will make the play himself, and the Falcons get out of the inning. Not quite a 1-2-3 inning because there was a base runner, but he was erased on a pickoff. So no runs, no hits, and no one left on base. We go to inning number 6. It's 5-3 Park Center.
So there you are, shuffling through a stack of resumes, and you come to mine. This is it, first impression, my way in. But can my resume show you how I truly stand out? Like that I was studying, going to night school while working 2 jobs just to help my parents pay for groceries. Or being the first one to always step up. No, that's something you just can't put on paper. Look beyond the resume and discover new ways to develop great talent that is dedicated, hardworking, and determined like me.
And we head to inning number 6 here at Park Center. Zach Poppy taking his warm-up tosses for the Pirates as he tries to protect a 5-3 lead. Armstrong will have a pinch hitter coming up first, it looks like. Bjorn Jensen, number 19, getting set to bat.
We have to go out there and run a couple laps to get the blood flowing. It's getting chilly. If that breeze was any worse, it'd be really cold.
So Jensen steps into bat for Mosley in the number 7 spot.
I don't think they want the song done. The umpire's favorite song I heard.
Yeah, I
saw him in the parking lot.
He's jotting down the pinch hitter here, so that's the reason we're getting going here. Jensen, a good hockey player in the Armstrong Cooper program as well. Called on here to try and get things started in inning number 6. Takes a strike.
Now we're ready, Bjorn. Here we go, kid.
Oh, trying to drag a bunt down. Instead, it will be strike 2.
Interesting. I saw the Park Center coach directing his third baseman to back up, so it's kind of a good counter there by Armstrong to try and drop a bunt. Unfortunately, they weren't able to get it into play.
And drives this one up the middle just next to the second base bag, and it'll be a base hit, so maybe a blessing in disguise for Armstrong that he wasn't able to get that bunt down. Instead, comes back with a line drive single, and we talked about it earlier, you know, finding those spots to use pinch hitters and things like that, and he left that ball up a little bit, and Jensen really smoked it.
Yeah, he jumped right on that. He was behind in the count. Good pitch to get on and put it right up the middle of the box and get down to first base and see what they can make happen here in the top of the 6th.
Reese Parsons is the batter here for Armstrong. He re-entered after being pinch hit for by Elans earlier. And a cut and a miss. Parsons 0 for 1 today. So Armstrong getting what they wanted there. The leadoff man aboard here, down by 2 runs in the top of the 6th. Cut and a miss.
Good pitch down in the zone, hard to hit. Batter was just over it and a little early.
And this one driven to center, but again, it's going to hang up. They've had Clem positioned pretty well, and he's read balls well. There have been probably, 3 or 4 that have been hit reasonably well, but basically right to him.
Yeah, early in the season when it's this cool, the balls don't seem to come off the bat as hot. So the outfielders are able to play a little bit shallower, and it's hard to get a fly ball to drop in unless you really crush it over their head.
Excuse me, Drew. Jordan Page stepping in. He is 1 for 2. He had a single to knock in a run last time. Throw down to first there. And Jensen able to get back. Breaking ball in the dirt gets by Peterson, and Jensen will move up. So wild pitch there. Well, it gets him into scoring position, but probably even more importantly, really for Armstrong at this time, is it takes a double play out of the equation.
Yeah, nice job there too by the catcher. Even though the ball got by him, he was able to get over there and make sure that ball didn't scoot into the dugout and give the Armstrong an opportunity to advance another base.
There's a strikeout. There is a lot of room and foul ground, you know, down the line certainly, but even around home plate here, you have to be alert as a catcher at playing in this Park Center Stadium. Ball throw down to second. Oh, and a nice stop as Dwyer went down to a knee to protect that one. That ball looked like it was probably going to go into center field, but watch the second baseman. You see Stein, the shortstop, can't get there, but the second baseman, Dwyer, sliding to a knee, taking it off his leg. Good hustle there.
Yeah, nice job to keep that ball from scooting into the center field and giving the runner an opportunity to advance third base.
You saw in the replay though, also good, good hustle coming in from center. It might not have been an opportunity to advance anyway because there was, a good break and good hustle by Clem in center. Way up high there, and Page will draw a walk. Park Center grumbled a little bit on the previous pitch, but Page will work out a walk.
Yeah, Jay, going back to that, the center fielder making a move to back up the throw down a second. That's something I like to teach at the Little League levels. Kids always say it's so boring, there's so much standing around. Well, technically, there's movement for every position player on every play, whether it's backing up, anticipating the next throw, or making the play.
So Pertla is the hitter now with 2 on, and that one in the dirt. Nice stop there by Peterson. So Armstrong, like in most innings, putting a little threat together. They've got the tying run aboard at first now, 1 out. First and second for the top of the order, and Pertla last time up doubled in a run.
That's
fouls this one out of play. Oh, and that one might have a little glancer on the truck.
Just missed,
or just missed.
Nice. They got him.
Yeah. It
Confirmation.
Didn't make a ton of noise, but I thought it had made a little glance. The body I think can take it, but just don't go through the window, please.
You guys should incentivize that, make some type of game out of that. Free box of popcorn or something, or maybe a blanket. Be nice.
I would buy those if they had them available for sale today. A blanket right now, I can tell you that. That's
buy your own product.
Not warm today. Breaking ball, Pertla fouls it off his leg there.
Just got a piece, stay alive.
These are the kind of fun at bats. You got a veteran pitcher, veteran hitter up here. 2 on, 1 out. 5-3 ball game, and Pertla trying to push those runners around, and that one up high.
Nice job laying off on that one. He earlier in the at bat, he got a pitch up in his own call that he wasn't happy with, and he almost chased that one, but that one was a little higher up in the ladder. Good choice not to go after it.
Breaking ball in the dirt, runner going. Here's the throw to third, and not going to be in time. Throw is a little bit outside. It was a gamble there for Jensen to go, but he will make it.
Yeah, nice big job by Jensen. He was going first chance he had, and you know, even when he had put that ball in play earlier, he came out of the box running, and he just has an aggressive approach to the base paths, and paid off there to get down to third base. And also the runner from first follows and gets down to second.
3-2 pitch. Perdola lifting it back, fouling out of play. He made it, but I'm not going to go so far as to call that a good base running play there. I think Park Center makes that play. That's
oh yeah. You got to take some risks, and it paid off for him that time. But the odds usually are not in his favor on that play.
Tapper to short, and it'll get by Stein. 1 run scores, and it's a 5-4 ball game. Like I said, great move to pick up third there by Jensen, right? As he was going to score on this one anyway, but then Stein didn't come up with it, so an E6.
I don't know, Stein made the decision to try and barehand that ball. I don't know if it was just out of respect for the runner and that ball's not hit too hard, but I think he still has a chance if he uses his glove and makes a good strong throw over to first, but unfortunately he's not able to come up cleanly with the ball, and the runner reaches first base, and now it's first and third with 1 out.
Yeah, just the way that ball was hit, they weren't really going to have much chance at the runner at home, but it looked like a play where, and granted it was going to be a tough play either way, but probably, you know, should have been able to get an out ideally at first base there to pull them within and out of getting out of it. Instead, Armstrong now to within a run. They've got runners in the corners and still just 1 out, and a very good hitter up. Tyler Schell is 2 for 3.
Yeah, those barehanding the ball is so tough to do, and you see it at the professional level done, you know, somewhat often, but those are the best of the best, and they've been putting in years and years and years of experience, and oftentimes it's harder to actually field a ball barehanded when it's actually on the ground. Usually it's easier to catch it when it's hopping, and you can kind of catch it up high and you're not bending down and then trying to make that throw at the same time.
And Stein was being aggressive there. I mean, I think he was feeling that it was hit so slowly that he maybe wasn't going to have time if he just made a regular play with the glove there. So, you know, a tough one either way for sure, but scored as an error. So Schell will hit here. See if Armstrong might do something on the bases to try and bring this one in terms of, you know, a double steal situation. Instead, Schell fouling that one straight back. Keep in mind, earlier in the game, Peterson did throw out a runner in a similar spot, a first and third.
Yeah, and if you're Armstrong, you don't want to run yourself out of a position, a good spot with the key part of your lineup coming up too.
And this one knocked into left field for a base hit, and we're tied at 5. Tyler Schell coming up with a big base hit there for Armstrong, his 3rd hit of the day, and it's a 5-5 ball game.
Come on! We're not done.
Long way back for Armstrong. It didn't look too positive for them a couple innings ago, but you know, they stayed in it and started to battle back, and here they are with a good chance to even take the lead here in the top of the 6th.
Land your pitch and drive it, kid.
Tyler Fliss, the hitter. First and second, still 1 out. 5-5 game. Fliss lifting one down the right field line, and foul ground, a lunge, and just missed it.
Yeah, long run for the right fielder there. He was playing the batter to kind of shade him to right center. That ball's it's further off the line than it looks, and it would have been a tough play. And even if he does come up with that catch, a good base running by Armstrong maybe would have put them ahead in this game.
All right, Fliss, here we go.
So an entertaining long foul there that nearly resulted in a great catch. Instead, it's just a strike here to Fliss. And nice breaking ball over for a strike, and it's 0-2.
Tough pitch to take, but
the previous pitch, Fliss kind of looked back like he wasn't thrilled, and then that one,
Fliss, he
everybody in Park
like
Center.
He was walking towards the dugout, but he's still up there.
1-2 pitch, pickoff on it, second. Ooh, close, but they didn't quite get him. Perdola diving back in, and the base actually came loose.
Hit it hard, Fliss. Let's go, 4.
Yeah, if you're Armstrong, you definitely don't want to run yourself out of an opportunity here. You're in a good spot. but you also want to make sure you get a decent lead, and definitely a good secondary lead. So if that ball's put in play, you don't get out at third, and then if it's a hit, you score and take a lead here.
In the dirt, and it's going to get by Peterson, and the runners will move up. Wild pitch here from Poppy, and a bend off a breaking ball there, and Peterson not quite able to smother it.
Yeah, tough pitch to block there. It's breaking off to the outside part of the plate, but because of the spin, it bounces back to the inside, and it allows the runners to advance.
West started to go, but held up.
Good control there, good control to work this count a little deeper and stay alive at the plate here.
Back up the middle, and it gets under Stein. One run is in, and they'll hold the second runner. Fliss now moving up to second on the play, and Armstrong will take a 6-5 lead on the error by Stein.
You know, Jay, we talked about the fundamentals earlier in the game, and we saw a couple meltdowns for both sides, and this is one of those plays where coach is going to talk them through and say, hey, we're going to work this through in practice, but we need to execute better. Not only do we want to stop that ball and come up clean, but you know, it gets under the glove, but then the center fielder's playing way in. He has a good opportunity to throw, but the first baseman's got to follow that throw and be the cutoff man at the mound because the pitcher's over backing up the throw to home plate. And unfortunately, not having the pitcher there to be the cutoff man to cut that throw off, the runner who's at first is now down at second. So Armstrong's in a really good position, second and third, with one out.
Pitching change here for Park Center as Sherva is going to move from right field into pitch. So an entertaining game gets more entertaining as we go here. Top of the sixth, Armstrong fighting back with 3 runs to go ahead now at 6-5.
Yeah, and going back to earlier when you were saying they're good backup by the center fielder. He was moving in right away when that ball was hit, backing up the shortstop, and he was there. He was almost playing a deep second base. But you know, there is a movement for every position player at every time within the play, and once that runner gets to first base, you often see the first baseman break off and become the cutoff man at the mound, because the pitcher's initial responsibility is to back up the throw to home plate. Not being able to execute that allowed the runner from first to get down to second. And again, good job by Armstrong to stay in this. They battled back. They were down early after a really tough inning. Fell down, I think it was 4-0, and you know, didn't look really positive, but they stayed with it. Got a couple things to go their way, and now it's they're the ones that are seeing their opposition kind of struggle in the field, and they're taking advantage of it, and it's paying off from the scoreboard.
Sherva pitched 3 innings against Cooper on Friday, and he'll come in relief here and try and get out of trouble. Already 3 runs in for Armstrong here in the 6th through wide batting with runners at second and third.
Again, the infield is in.
There's a strike.
Which really makes it tough for these infielders. They don't have much mobility. They can't make much range to make the ball. So if it's not hit directly at them, they really won't have much of a play.
Hyde has had a pair of walks and reached on a fielder's choice. Chase that one for strike 2.
Yeah, I was jumped all over that one. That was a tough pitch. Good breaking ball in the dirt.
Comes way sidearm and throws it past his catcher Peterson, and a run will score on the wild pitch by Sherva as Shell comes in. Tried to really go submarine there and missed the plate badly.
Yeah, tried to give him a different angle. Didn't even come close to hitting the plate, and didn't give his catcher a chance to keep that one in front of him. And coach here is seeing things kind of melt down in front of him, but you still need to focus. You got a couple chances at the plate.
Hyde smoking one through for a base hit. will make it 8-5.
There you go, Jay. As we were talking about the infield in, if that infield is halfway on the right side, that's an easy line drive caught by the second baseman, but they made the decision to bring everybody in on the grass, and if that line drive's not hit directly at you, you really don't have much of a chance to make a play. But good solid drive. The batter to put the ball in play, makes it out in the right field, and Armstrong having a big inning here.
Bo Uman will be the batter, and that one's in the dirt. Peterson with the stop. Bo 1 for 3 today, had a single in the second inning. That one outside, 2-0. And now a 3-0 count. Takes a strike there. Sure of a flick to first. Eyed back.
Find your pitch, Bo. Find your pitch.
And Sherva battling back with a couple of straight strikes here to make it a full count now to Uman. And ball 4 up high and away. So Armstrong is now batted around.
All right, 7, here we go, kid, here we go.
Yeah, big inning for Armstrong here. They're trying to capitalize as much as they can so they can put this game out of reach.
James Larson's going to step into bat here for Bray in the number 6 spot for the Falcons. Squared as if to bunt there, takes it for a ball. And he does bunt, and it's a good one. Throw to first base is in time, but he moves the runners up with the sacrifice.
The catcher's hurt a little bit. Good strong throw, but I think he hurt his knee coming out of that stance. He twisted on the grass.
So Bjorn Jensen will come up for a second time this inning. He started the inning with a line drive single up the middle. That seems like a long time ago now, doesn't it?
It's been a long, long inning.
Some activity down bullpen way, it looks like, for Park Center. There is a strike. Second and third, 2 outs here for Armstrong. They try and tack on more. They're up 8-5. Jensen out front of that breaking ball.
Good looking breaking ball there by Shirley. When he hits the zone, he's got a good sharp breaking ball. He's just got to find that consistency.
And far outside with that one. Armstrong trailed 5-3 coming into this inning, and they've put 5 up on the board. Jensen with another base hit. 2 in the inning. 1 run is in. 2 runs will score on the play as it's cut off, and Jensen coming up big late in the ball game. 2 singles within this 6th inning, and it's 10-5 Falcons.
Way to go, B!
Yeah, typical Armstrong baseball from what I remember. This is just a scrappy team putting the ball in play and getting runners to move around the base paths. And typically that results in runs, and that's what we're seeing here for Armstrong. They put up a big inning here in the top of the sixth.
Done here, Sticks. Let's go.
Well, and it really reinforces the point that we talked about earlier, where a coach can say, you know, keep yourself ready. We might need you. They believe it a lot more when they see it in a game situation where it comes up, where Jensen comes in and plays a huge role in this game, even after sitting for the first 5 innings.
Yeah, it's fun to see bench players come in and succeed, because the bench players, you know, feel like maybe, hey, I should have started, but if they're adapting to that role and welcoming it, it's fun to see them succeed, and the team will get behind them.
Parsons driving one down the right field line, and they're not going to get to it. It falls in just a spot where nobody could make it there. Breaking ball nips the outside corner for a strike. So 1-2 as Sherva tries to fight his way out of this. His team has 2 more at bats. I mean, obviously they're not out of it either. Like we said, Armstrong wasn't earlier. And this one hit hard and through for a base hit, as Parsons steps up and delivers his first hit of the game.
Yeah, again, these balls are just finding the right spots. You know, not the hardest hit ball of the day, but just out of the reach of the shortstop, and another runner on base for the Falcons here.
Jordan Page will be the hitter, but he might not be facing Sherva here, as Coach Johnson comes out, and see if we may get another pitching change here for the Pirates. It looks as though we might. Yep. Sherva has handed the ball over, and going to see, looks like Gavin Vita will be coming into the game for Park Center as the pitcher. Take a quick timeout. We'll come back with more here. Armstrong has burst into the lead 10-5 with a huge 6th inning.
CCX Media, your source for great local programming, is now available on Apple TV. Our free app allows you to stream all 3 of our channels live. You will also have access to our large on-demand library, including daily newscasts and full sporting events. To find us, go to the App Store and search CCX and download our free app. Then sit back and enjoy all your favorite local content. The CCX Media app, now available on Apple TV, coming soon to Roku.
As you get a look at the lefty, Gavin Vita taking his warm-up tosses here for Park Center. Boy, coming into this inning, Drew, Park Center probably had to feel, you know, pretty good about the way things were going. They had a 2-run lead, and you know, you just get 6 more outs and you got the win. But that's why baseball is a game that's so much fun. Is the time clock doesn't run out. You got to actually get those 6 outs, and Armstrong has just kind of strung some things together. A couple of errors defensively didn't help too, but just able to keep things going late here and really come up big offensively.
Yeah, and Armstrong getting runners on base, it really puts Park Center in a position where they need to make the defensive alignments that have really kind of cost them. It tightens up their defense, brings them in. A couple line drives that would have been caught had they been playing at normal position, but they weren't because they had a runner on third. Little things like that really have been adding up for Armstrong and ending up in their favor.
Jordan Page walked last time and had an RBI single in the 4th. Takes that one for a ball.
Just calling strikes.
That one might have been up, but Peterson had that one get away briefly. It was just at his feet, but able to find it eventually there. Sherva's now playing first base, and he came over to have a quick word with the pitcher, Vita. And that one hit him. So the bases will be loaded up as Page gets hit by that one. So Pergola will step up here to try and keep it rolling here as the base is full and 2 outs for Armstrong. And that one way high, and another run will score.
Good job, Bjorn.
Jensen comes home. Both other runners move up as well on the wild pitch.
You know, Armstrong's all of a sudden in a position to where they can put this game really out of reach, and a couple more runs across the plate here. With the key part of their order up coming up, you know, with runners on base, they have a good chance to put this game really out of reach.
And another one that'll get through. A late break for the plate, but still going to score is Parsons. The wheels kind of coming off for Park Center late in this one.
Yeah, not the start you want if you're Vita here, but I think what we're seeing Coach Johnson do here is just let them try and figure it out. He you know, he's not throwing in the towel, but he's going to let his players play this game out, and you know, understand that, hey, this might be the worst it's going to get. If this is the worst it's going to be this season, let's get it out of the system, and let's move on from here. He's already used 4 or 5 arms, and doesn't want to get too far into the pitching staff.
There's a strike. Pergola 1 for 4, reached on an error the last time and came in to score, doubled in a run in the 4th. Turns on that one and drives it way foul. And he tags this one to left field, but it's going to hang up and be caught. But the damage is certainly done. A 9-run inning for Armstrong. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning. It's 12-5 Falcons.
Meet the scan, a simple procedure whose mission is to detect lung cancer early.
I'm here to save you.
But I feel fine.
That's great, but you may still be at high risk for lung cancer.
Oh man, that's a new fence.
If you smoke, early detection could save your life. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Well, Park Center had the lead for a while, but now trailing at 12-5 after Armstrong puts 9 up in the top of the 6th. So a couple more at bats for Park Center. They'll have the 9, 1, and 2 spots coming up here, and A.J. Sternix will be back out on the mound. I thought with as cold a day as it is and as long as an inning it was, that there's a possibility that that wouldn't be the case, but he is going to come back out here and build on a pretty good 5th inning. You'll see Shane leading it off, and then Dwyer and Sherva.
Yeah, I think you want to give him an opportunity to finish this game up. Even though it might be cold, if he's over in the dugout keeping his arm loose and feels good to go out there, and let him go out there and do what he can to finish this game out, get these last 6 outs. But I think he's probably got a little bit of a short leash, but let him go out there and give it a shot.
Wait, and what a different feeling. You come out before just trying to, keep them close and hang in there, and now all of a sudden you've got a 7-run lead the next time you come back out.
Yeah, a lot more flexibility and confidence out there now, I would think, and hopefully we see that in his pitches here.
First pitch, swing and a miss. Shane has been on both times as the number 9 hitter, walks in each case. Fastball at the knees for a strike. And 3 straight as he throws it by him.
Yeah, Armstrong seems to have a little bit of a extra pep to their walk here today after that big inning at the plate, and seeing Sternix come out and just throws 3 straight strikes like that is a great start for them. And he seems to have it when he's got control. He's not rushing things.
Dwyer takes a pitch up high for a ball. Dwyer's 1 for 2 with the walk. Popping this one up, might be playable for Ide. He's got a lot of ground over there, and he gets to it for the out. Nice read on that ball. I mean, that wasn't quite as spectacular as that little leaping catch he had earlier, but that's still a pretty good play by a first baseman.
Yeah, it's a good play. He's backtracking on a field that he's not all too familiar with, but listening to his teammates and keeping an eye on that ball and over-the-shoulder catch to get that second out.
So Tanner Sherva, the hitter now for Park Center, and slices that one back foul. Sherva started the game in right field and moved to pitcher and then to first base. Popping this one back foul and out of play. Little tapper down to short. Oh, and it takes a bad bounce on Shell, and that's going to mean he's safe at first.
Yeah, again, another tough hop. Looks like it would have been a pretty routine ground ball, but takes a extra hop there towards the end and catches him up in the chin. Not able to make the throw in time.
Yeah, and that's where, you talk, obviously that was a difficult hop to handle for sure, but you kind of think about talking, I think, as a team too, about it this early in the season. Maybe you want to get up and get that ball while it's still on the grass.
Yeah, you want to keep charging that ball instead of sitting back on it, and that comes with experience, and maybe we'll see him do that later on after having that experience here.
Tanner Stein, the hitter, and lifting this one, another one fouled on the right field side. Ooh, good effort there. Oh, he's caught up in the fence, I think, a little bit. No, maybe not quite. But yeah, that was a great effort by Pertola here. See, it just sailed by him, and then he went headlong
through the fence.
And then what was it? Sunglasses, it looked like might have flown through there, something, and his arms caught it. Wow, that was an adventure. It's good that he's all right, though.
I had to run him with a fence when I was younger. It's not a good experience. Fence is going to win usually.
Kind of looked like Pertola might have been looking at his arm. He maybe didn't get through quite as unscathed as we hoped. I mean, he might have got a little bit of a slice or a little bit on the arm, but. Fastball missing outside from Sternix there. Stein 2 for 2 and a walk. Been a tough out, obviously, and he's certainly one of the better hitters in this lineup. There's a strike. And a hard liner down to short. Couple hops for Shell, and he will throw him out. And so the Falcons get out of the inning. No runs, no hits, and one error. One left aboard. We go to inning number 7, and Armstrong leading at 12-5.
Did you hear about the pony with a sore throat? He was a little horse. Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why couldn't the Why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Where do cats go on vacation? New York.
And we head to inning number 7 here. Another new pitcher coming in for Park Center as Sam Kill will be handed the ball here. Armstrong has the 2, 3, 4 spots coming up. And if you're just joining us, Armstrong trailed 5-3 heading into the 6th and put 9 runs on the board. Really flipped the script in this one. And now they are trying to close out a victory. Both teams coming in 1-0 after Armstrong beat Maple Grove Monday and Park Center had defeated Cooper on Friday of last week. And again, we'll wait and see what the weather's going to do the rest of the week, but it seems relatively likely that this will be the last, baseball that we'll see, at least for the rest of this week, and maybe beyond that too. But we'll let that play out as it may here. I think teams, you feel glad to at least get in a couple of these early. So thinking back to last year where they almost had to reschedule, the first couple weeks at least of their season, and that makes it tough.
Yeah, it makes it very tough for scheduling, for athletic directors, for fans, for families, for everybody involved. But you really can't deal with that when it's weather. It's weather. In the spring in Minnesota, and our baseball seasons are so, high school baseball seasons are so stinking short up here that you got to do what you can. You got to be flexible and adjust to what Mother Nature brings every year.
Tyler Shell will step up, and he's had himself a pretty decent game here, 3 for 4. Looks at a first pitch up high and out of the zone from Kill. That one's over for strike 1. Thought about it, but lays off. 2 balls and a strike now to the Armstrong shortstop.
Tough pitches to lay off. Those ones up by the chest and at your eyes often seem like the easiest ones to hit, and they're hard to lay off, but it's a good decision.
Drives it foul and out of play down the right field line. Down the third base line, and that's fair. Shell will take a big turn, but hang on with his 4th base hit of the ball game.
That ball just staying fair. Good hustle by the left fielder to get over there and keep Shell from advancing down to second base. I thought for sure coming out of the box he was going to have a double, but good hustle by the left fielder to get over there and field that ball cleanly and get it in the infield to keep Shell to just a big aggressive turn and not advancing down to second.
So Tyler Fliss is the batter. Bliss 1 for 3, was on an error last time as well. Was out of the game for the middle portion of the game as Alex Haberly came in and replaced him. Breaking ball over for a strike.
Good looking breaking ball, tough pitch to hit.
Throw to first, a big high one hopper that Sherva fields. Drives this one down the left field line. It's a fair ball. And uh-oh, they got 2 runners headed to second. As Bliss will have to head back for first. Shell was waiting to see if that ball would be caught or not, and so he only advances to second, and Bliss was pretty certain he was going to get a double, and they almost both wound up on 2 there.
That was probably the longest single we'll see all spring. But again, when that ball hits the ground, it dies. It doesn't advance, so Shell's kind of in a tough spot where you thought the ball was high enough in the air that the left fielder was going to have a chance to play. He couldn't see how far down the line that ball was. But in the end, they end up with a long single and a runner moving down to second base.
Well, and it's a spot where, I mean, it's not really going to matter as the game goes, but I'd have to say the lead runner there didn't pick the ball up very early, or he would have easily been to third.
Yeah, you either got to pick up the ball yourself or look at your coach and trust your coach, but played it safe, and sometimes safe is better than sorry, but
yeah, you do more harm by running into a bat out than you do by playing a little cautious, that's for sure.
Yep.
So
but
Jack
it's one of those learning examples where down the road that'll pay off to keep an eye on the ball and pick it up early.
Jack Major, the hitter for Armstrong. Looks at a strike here. And outside with that one is Kill.
Might be running out of daylight soon. Shadows are gone.
Just missed with that one, so the bases will be loaded up. Major draws a walk. And we're going to see another pinch hitter here as Colin Spellman, number 23, will step up.
Corners come in for Park Center. Up the middle, they're playing double play depth.
Come on, Colin, let's go, kid. No, they're here. They're still here.
Pitch is in the dirt, and the run will score. As Shell comes in.
Good secondary lead down there at third base. Easily comes in to score on that pass ball. Well pitch.
And that one up high and tight. Bouncer back to the mound, and Kill will throw to the plate, and they'll get the out there. Nice fielding play by Kill.
Yeah, nice play by the pitcher, and immediately recognized the situation that the runner was halfway down the line, and runner didn't really make too much an effort to get in the hot box there. Just kind of made a break towards home, and Keel makes a quick throw to home and gets the out.
Be a fielder's choice, and you see the tag easily applied to Fliss there. James Larson is the batter now for Armstrong. There's a strike. Larson last time dropped down a nice bunt. Sacrifice. And tags this one out to left field, and that'll be in for a hit to score another run. Runner coming to third. There'll be a play. And didn't quite get him as Spellman is in.
I think he got him with his leg coming up. That was a good play. Good hustle, good play, good execution. Good tag by the third baseman there. I think he ended up getting him with the leg coming up, but another run for Armstrong. Another good solid hit to left field. Nice play here by the left fielder. Keep the ball in front of him. Doesn't come up with it cleanly, but kept it in front of him.
Ooh, close one. So Bjorn Jensen will bat, and he has been kind of a hero off the bench with 2 hits late in this game. One to start that big rally in the 6th, and then later in the 6th he drove in a pair with another single. And this one will plunk him.
His OBPS is through the roof, Wilcox. This game lost its competitive battle recently, but it was a good back and forth game through about 4 or 5 innings. But last couple of innings, Armstrong has really dominated.
Base is full, 1 out. Reese Parsons is the hitter for the Falcons. Looks at a strike here. And fouls this one back. And there's a called third strike as Parsons caught looking for out number 2. Jordan Page will be the hitter now. Let's get another look here, and that might be a little bit of a 14-5 called third strike, but that's okay. I mean, I don't think even the batter would argue with that at this point. Jordan Page takes a strike. Sapper here, going to be a tough chance, and 1 run is in, and they'll hold the second runner. So the bases will remain loaded up here for Armstrong.
Yeah, tough play here for the infield. The ball is slow chopper. Third baseman doesn't have the best angle. Shortstop's kind of cut off, and I think good base running by Armstrong and good coaching by Armstrong as well by not trying to force another run at the plate when you're already up 10 runs here in the 7th inning.
Rip and a miss here by Perdola. So an infield hit on that last play, and looking, reiterated by looking at the replay, they're not going to get an out there even if they pick that up cleanly.
Right.
And I agree with you. There's really no need to gamble and possibly, you know, get somebody injured on your team or the other team at that situation,
it's good
too.
Sportsmanship too, and it teaches the kids. You know, if it's a 6-5 game, it might be a different call, but you don't need that extra run at this point.
This one lifted out to right center, and that's a long run, and it is going to be in the gap. So Perdola driving a long one to clear the bases.
Nice, solid contact to right center field. Runners could easily see that that one was getting down, and they were on the move from the start anyways, so you don't want to stop running and take the competitiveness out of the game, but if you got a chance to score, you're going to score.
Hey, be patient.
So Shell will bat. Thought that 9-run inning was impressive enough. They had another 6 here in the 7th.
Run it out. You never know. You never know.
Lifted to right. And a little bit of a tough wind there, but the catch made. So Armstrong blowing this one open. They'll try and close it out here in the bottom of the 7th. It's 18-5 Falcons.
Sure, I look cute now, but when my owner lost his job, it was rough. I was living on the street, and one night, me and this Cocker Spaniel got into it so bad, I wound up looking like an ice cream cone. I cried a little bit, but thankfully I got rescued, so I'm running, I'm jumping, all back to my old self, and I'm ready to give unconditional love, even if you put a lampshade on my head.
Turned into a bit of a marathon here as we go to the bottom half of the 7th. Armstrong now leading at 18-5. I'm going to see a new pitcher coming out for the Falcons here to try and close things down in the bottom of the 7th, and that'll be Zach Myers, the right-hander. Sternix turning in a nice outing. I think, you know, just a combination of those lengthy innings and the cold and all that, we'll say you're done for the day and put Myers out there to and get through the Pirates in the 7th.
Yeah, I think we saw good pitching from Armstrong throughout most of the day. You know, good start by B-Win. He was all over the zone for the most part of the first 2-3 innings. Had a couple rough stretches with his defense behind him, but you know, the offense picked him up later in the game, the 4th, 5th, 6th, and then Sternix came in, and when he's composed, and that comes with experience, you can see it. There's two things that really make up a good pitcher. It's talent and composure. And the composure comes with experience. Talent, you know, you kind of either have it or you don't. You work towards in practice. But if you have the talent, you have the composure, you can be a really dominating pitcher out there on the mound. And to be consistently composed is a tough thing at this level. But I think if we see Sternix evolve over the season, I think we're going to see him kind of develop into a pretty powerful pitcher.
Riley Peterson stepping in here for Park Center to lead off the bottom of the 7th. There's a strike. Peterson had a strikeout. He reached on an error and then a walk in the 4th. All of Park Center's damage coming in a 2-inning span. They had scored 4 runs in the bottom of the 3rd, and then added 1 more in the bottom of the 4th, but then have been, you know, relatively silent since. Popped up, short left center, a long jaunt to get to that one, but having a pretty good read on it all the way was Jensen there, and he'll make the catch for out number 1 here in the bottom of the 7th.
It seems to be lumbering. He seems like he has a bum ankle or bum knee. Hopefully he gets over that and gets some rest.
Sam Kill, number 8, will be the batter here for Park Center. Came in as the pitcher. They actually made a double switch at the time. And he drives this one a long way to left and right over the head of Jensen. Kill didn't waste any time jumping on that one. And he will be into second with a one-out double.
Good for him. Good for him after a rough outing on the mound. He comes out and jumps all over that ball and crushes it right over the left fielder's head. Exit velocity on that one was pretty high up there, Wilcox. What do you think?
Just when Jensen, that's the kind of, when you're an outfielder there, you look up and after about a split second, you realize, oh, I'm in trouble here.
That one got over me. It got me. I think that's the first one we've seen all day over the outfielder's head. That tells you how hard he hit that ball.
Trey Stork will be the batter here for Park Center. Didn't mean to swing there and fouls it down the first base side. In the dirt there, and Fliss with a block. And this is another kind of learning lesson, I think, for both teams too here, Drew, in that, okay, the game's lopsided. It's pretty cold, but you still have to, each at bat still matters. I mean, the guy's going to come up and look to get a base hit, and you want your guys to still continue to do the right things playing baseball, like we're seeing with Fliss here, still keeping his mechanics back there as a catcher.
Yeah, and it's not only a good experience here for the catcher, but also for the pitching staff, knowing that they have the confidence when he's out there behind the plate that they can throw those breaking balls with runners on the base paths. They don't have to stick to pitches that they know they can only throw for strikes. They can take a risk and throw a breaking ball or change up down in the dirt.
Ooh, and that one fouled off the catcher, Fliss. Looked like it caught him in the padded area, though, I hope.
They're kids. They're tough. Yeah, I think it ran right off his toe pad.
Cut and a miss here. Going to throw to first base to record the out. So 2 gone here in the 7th as Stork strikes out. And Myers just needs one more out here.
Nice job by the catcher here. Not only keep that ball in front of him, know the runner's in second. Yeah, you're up 13 runs, but that's a situation that you probably might not see the rest of the season. But when it does come up, you have the experience, you know what to mentally be doing and what to do.
Here's Clem. Soft one hopper to second. Throw to first is in time, and Armstrong will secure the victory here. They trailed for a while, but boy, did they erupt late in this game, Drew, to pull away and put Park Center away.
Yeah, they kept hitting the ball, and stayed in it. After that rough inning in the field where they gave up 3-4 runs to Park Center, coach, came out and said, hey, let's keep our head in it. Get this one run at a time, one hit at a time, and see what happens. And they just kept hitting, and it started to compounding, and they just kept hitting.
So it is Armstrong moving to 2-0 on the season here as they win this one 18-5 with a late flurry, 9 runs in the 6th and 6 more in inning number 7 to improve to 2-0 on the season. Park Center drops to 1-1. Best of luck to these teams the rest of the year, and best of luck getting some games in. Hopefully it's not too long of a situation where we run into bad weather here the rest of this week and next week. Hope you've enjoyed this one here on CCX Sports. For Drew Keogh and all of our cold crew here, Armstrong winning it over Park Center 18-5.